Who's awake? I'm gonna go get the girl. Get in here with me, joining me, hanging out with the dad. Oh, hanging out with the dad. All right. Well, I called the coffee talk, but I'm having me some water. Let's see if anybody was up around. Probably pretty slow moving around this platform this time of day, but that's all right. Early to bed, early to rise, went to bed early. I'm gonna throw it a while, so a little time to bird here. Got the kitties hanging out. Got a full of kitties. All kinds of kitties hanging out here. Bobbing, hanging out there. Yeah. Oh, it's not that time yet. 12 at night. Canada. Well, Canada, but it's 12 at night. I don't say morning, I say top of the day because I'm not morning. But it's a habit. I know people say that. It's always something with you, Tracy. Well, that's the morning. So they play it's another visual voodoo on us. So hello, brother Matthew. Good to see us. Good video there. I liked your that's good work. Are you doing that on a laptop or a tablet, or I work off a phone, so a cheap phone. I can't even see myself here. Hold on. I stand when I can't see my eyes. I feel like I'm moving on laptop. Yeah, I wish I had a studio to do videos. I'd put together content, but I don't have time for that for now. Yeah, actually, it's time to get ready for the weather. So I'm hoping the weather will break here. We got some more snow blowing around out there right now outside. So it's February. Winter's not over, and we're going to go back into a cold spell. So really need to focus this year when the weather breaks to get as much all the concrete work done. All the concrete work done. So that's going to be a lot. But I want to do it when the weather breaks. I don't think we're going to have a big, long summer. I don't anticipate a long summer. No Indian summer or anything like that. So, yeah, hey, I want you to go check out, when you have the time, go look at Enter the Stars. I've already put his name out there. Go watch his last video for me about the Reiki symbol and the Operation Warp Speed logo. And because that has to do with Hinduism. It's 79. Nice. Yeah. Like I say, we got some hail snow. Oh, hail snow blowing around out here, out at the Silver Rock Ranch. But that's all right. Like I said, location, location, location. So pretty soon, well, that always is something. Location's everything. I hope you're where you want to, where your 10 toes where you want to be. You know, not everybody's where they want to be. So I hope you're where you want to be. But anyways, a lot of fires going down there in Texas. Seeing some doomy baby, some green doomy baby going on down there, and some videos and stuff. Yeah, you guys got all kinds of largest fire ever. What 1 million acres burnt in Texas. Wow, guys, that's a big fire. We've had some big ones. We've had some very large fires all over the earth. Canada, look what happened in Canada. It's happening everywhere. You're laying. You always lay on the kitty. You come up and lay right on the cats. Look at this dog. It's like I'm just gonna come lay on the kitties. You teddy boy. So, anyways, yeah, whether I keep trying to, hey, stop, leave him alone. He hadn't been inside and warmed up in a while. I'm letting him inside. Hey, psst. You don't want to play right now. I'll let the other kitty. He hadn't been in a while. He don't come in. He's the outside cat, but he has a whole semi-trailer to himself in the very back. So with the huge spread back there, multiple cat beds and all that. But hey, knock it off there, Panty. Pantalone. Be nice. We don't need to see your teeth. So, weather, pretty soon, weather is going to dominate this earth. That's my, that's where I see it going. I see going outside it being like a microwave. What? Yup. You ever thought about it might be a microwave outside? Well, something similar to that. Where it talks about boils and blisters on your skin from going outside. So, from the sun. I don't think anybody's really thinking about that. Everybody's just kind of going along to get along here at this point because it's not very easy to get by at this point in time unless you're been pretty well off. So, I know there's a lot of struggle out there. But thanks for coming in. Thank you for not saying morning. I know people say that, and it's all right. To say it's old habits die hard. But what about Canada? I mean, I don't know everything about Canada, but I mean, I see what's going on currently in Canada. No, I have a major thing for Canada because they got stepped on by their supposed leader, you know, related to Castro. Let's call him that, right? Hey, would you stop messing with your dad? He don't want to play. He's an old man. He's an old kid. He don't want to play. She's trying to play, and he's trying to get a drink. She kicked him off the couch. He jumped down to get a drink of water. Now he's getting a drink of water. She's down there batting at his face while he's trying to get a drink of water. You were harassing him. Stop harassing him. Stop harassing your dad. This is Jennifer girl. She's my little kitty girl. She harassing her dad down there playing on the couch. He was on the couch. She went over and started swatting at him. Would you try to play with your dad? He don't want to play. He's trying to warm up. He hasn't been inside in a while. Oh. So, all right. So, yeah. They did it. They did it here. They did it here in America too. Remember? They did it here, and you know, same story. The Roman Catholicism, the sacrament of the Mass, Puritans came over here supposedly, or you know, they call them pilgrims here in America in the history books, but there were Puritans fleeing that Catholic Church that was killing anybody that wouldn't go to their eating of the orgy sex king festival, their feast of the Yule, that dark, you know, Christmas Nimrod Jesus that they celebrate, the world celebrates now. All that tree and grove, you know, like wood, like stand up the tree, Yule, throw the kids or throw your kids in the fire and eat them, throw the Yule, the little lamb, like Mary had, you know. Oh my gosh. It's so, we live in such a forwarded world. So yes, but we have history that people don't pay attention to. So the same thing was done here But it's funny, it wasn't done by the Catholic Church. It was people fleeing the Catholic Church that came over here and then slaughtered all the indigenous people that were here, most of them, because they weren't Christians and they said they didn't have a soul. So same gig, different thing. It's disgusting. That's why I just despise the country I live in, and I can't leave, because it's my son's here. Gotta hang out and do what I do here until, holidays. We are not supposed to celebrate holidays. That's was all nailed to the cross. All celebrations, traditions are all vain and vanity to the Lord. He says that learn not the ways, the customs, their traditions, their celebrations, the things they do on a calendar, birth dates. We're not supposed to celebrate any birth dates. Birth dates, there's only 2 birth dates in scripture, and that's King Herod and the other. Remember, he was trying to kill Christ. I say this every time, but the other one wasn't Christ Jesus. So why do people celebrate? He tells us better to celebrate our death than our birth. If we're to celebrate anything, hey, somebody got out of here. They got out of this born of sin, corrupt dust that we live in, this flesh that we constantly have to fight and battle every day because it wants to sin and do the wrong thing when we know we're supposed to do the right thing. But it's just hard. It's a hard world to live in. It's not an easy walk to the Father, but that's why the only way we can do it is through the Son. We have to go through his testament. We have to be meek and have to be kind, and we have to get to him. There's no other way. To be like a child to return to the Father. He said that when he was on this earth. He made that very clear. So, you got to be meek, not weak. So, difference, right? It's a tough world we live in. So he's supposed to armor up. Don't celebrate that stuff and suffer for that. People are going to suffer later for celebrating these vain customs and traditions. Learn not the way of the heathens, for their traditions, their customs are vanity. And that means worthless to him. So he doesn't like it. He divorced his bride for celebrating that same festival. Yeah, we were talking about the morning. So I don't say morning, but I say top of the day, or somebody came and said greetings. It's another, but because we were having the discussion, every day is a holy day. Hallelujah. Another day to glorify and edify and lift up his name. Our Father who art in heaven, glorify, lift up, hallowed be thy name. So yes, daily cross, go through suffering, and be hated by the world for being on the Jesus juice every single day, because it gets annoying to them or whatever, but doesn't matter. Not everything can be about Jesus, Tracy. Well, talk about other things, but he creates all things. So yeah, it really is if you think about it. So, but anyways, thanks for coming in. Brother Ross, appreciate seeing you. Read a little, just got a little time here. The wind's blowing around, snow all over, the hell snow. We're getting, I really, I talk a lot about the weather because that's what I believe will dominate this earth sooner or later. And people do not live in fear of the have. It's all the Most High doing it. John, thank you for coming in, John. Reading about John. My middle name is John. My father's name is John. I really encourage you guys to please go watch. Please take the time to go watch Casey from Enter the Stars. ENTER, the STARS. Okay, Enter the Stars. And go watch his last video about the Operation Warp Speed logo. Please go watch that video. Brothers and sisters, I want you to have the information. There's just so many things that are revealed through symbology, and you'll be worth your time. You'll be really glad that you did, guys. So Casey is such a man. I am so blessed that the Father gave me that. Well, you just go watch him. You'll see he's a gift from God. He really chases after the Most High in a completely different way through revealing that this stuff is all put in through symbology and everything. It's all, and he's a historian. He goes back in record. He's a master investigator. He has an amazing. He has the Honey Milk Ranch now. He's out away from from people now. After all these years, I think a dozen. He finally I seen he has a lady friend now on his I've been watching him for at least a dozen years. I've been on his show. Um, a long time ago, used to do. Casey doesn't do work with anybody anymore. He just does his own work, but he goes way back on YouTube. You can find so much content from him, but please just go watch his. And if that doesn't get you addicted to his work, I don't think anything will. Then just go chase the last, whatever videos. All of them will be good. I guarantee it. He does a lot of movie decodes. And again, what he does is he decodes all the symbology, like everything that's in it in a movie. When they put something, like if they put like stuff in the background, all of it, counting the boards that are in the wall, all of it, everything. Hollywood does not do anything not by the number, not by chance. They do that visual voodoo that I talked to you guys about. You know what I'm saying? So, but please go watch that last video we put out about warp speed when you have the time, and then please come back in and comment to me. It could be anytime, a day from now, a week from now, or whatever. Just but try to mark this when I'm talking about warp speed and the logo of the warp speed logo that was done during the beer bug. So I think you'll enjoy his content. I can't watch all his content. I just can't. I wish I could. He does a live every morning normally. I think except for on Saturday. So, but he's a real blessing to this wicked and sick realm, because he unperverts and untwists. He's a decoder. I do that too. Remember, guys, I've decoded this, this Alice symbol for you to show you all the symbology. But, and I'm not the only one doing this, but remember, I'm gonna do the same thing myself. There's a decode for you right there. I do the same thing. I have a different way of doing it. I'm very spiritual. Casey's spiritual too. So he does beautiful work, and he has, he's been doing it for a long time. So, but anyways, I'll sit down and relax. I don't want to stand up quite yet. I'm going to have to get up sooner or later here. I don't know. I feel like my work has been more valuable being done here than, because the weather has been kind of a little, it was good for a little bit, and I worked through a bunch of the winter already. So I'm really trying to get my mind focused and get my body rested to do concrete work. Because again, I come on here and say it's tough knowing what is coming here, and it's weather. I'm not talking about politics, or I want you to go look at that logo, and it will talk about the last pretendant and the current pretendant and all this, but it's beautiful. He does such great work, and it's actually something he put out a while ago. I already seen it. It's an old show, but I want you to go watch it. It's in a re-upload, but just please go watch it. If it's good enough for him to re-upload it, trust me, it's worth your time. And I wouldn't even say anything about it. Apologize, this thing's bothered back there, but my collar's flipped up. I'm rubbing on the back of my neck there. But weather's going to dominate, the earth at one point, I believe. And it'll pass, but it will be something that, because the weakened magnetosphere that we have on our earth is something that nobody's talking about. And I'm going to keep, have you watched Casey, Rebecca? Do you know who I'm talking about? Casey from Enter the Stars? He's an absolute gem. I'm not a Christian, no. And yeah, absolutely. Be looking at everything. Don't look away from nothing. Don't ever listen to that. Be wise. incorrect. That it's not politics to me. History's being made every day. Don't let anybody play no visual. The word poly meaning many, ticks, or tick meaning bloodsucker. So no, I don't play none of that. But I'm not gonna let anybody tell me history. So if you look away from anything right now, you're not wise. No, I'm not a Christian. Christ is a pagan term. Uh, he wasn't a Christian. He was a Hebrew Israelite and a Jewish carpenter. And no, I don't put labels on myself. So I'm not a Christian. No, I don't talk about Christianity and all, none of that. I don't consider myself. If you want to, you can. I'm not gonna, I know it, but all glory to Jesus Christ. you know, um, yeah. Say thank you, Ross. All glory to I am. All glory to Shiloh. All glory to Yahushua HaMashiach, the anointed, the Messiah, the Christ, the meaning the anointed. So it's just a term. He's not a term. He is I am, and he's not. He wasn't a Christian. Try to remember that. So that's Christianity. That's a new thing, and that's the Roman Catholicism, and I don't practice that. Eating of the flesh, the crackers and the grape juice ritual, which is vain and vanity, and that's all Christianity. And I'll celebrate none of those vain customs and traditions that they brought into through Constantine, through the blending of the northern tribes that he thought he couldn't slaughter Christians fast enough. Remember your history, remember your history. He couldn't kill them fast enough. Neither could Constantine. Neither the pagans were, he thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose my empire, to these northern pagan tribes, the Vandals and the Goths and the Visigoths. These were all the Vandals. These were all the the pagan tribes that practiced paganism, and they were slaughtering Christians as well as Constantine. Again, he thought he was going to lose his empire, so he blended Christianity with paganism, which is known as Roman Catholicism, and that's your modern day Christianity. So nope, not a Christian, not at all. Wouldn't ever put a label on myself, because 98% of people who all follow the Pope, which is he wears the Tammuz, the daggone fish god hat, the god of the underworld, undersea, and that's all paganism. And so I don't follow any of that. That's what Christianity is today. They all bring that worship into their churches. I don't care if they celebrate it under the name Lutheran, Baptist, Southern Baptist, Christian, Church of Latter-day Saints, Southern Baptist. It's all blasphemy. It's all an apostasy to the Word of God. And it's just, they bring all that vanity and vain tradition in their churches, and every one of them do it and chew, including these heads. Coexist paganism. There, Ross knocked it out of the park. Constantine says, "Hey, I'm going to write up this edict of toleration so that we'll all just get along, like this wokeism, stuff that they do today. Like, hey, we'll just let your pagan gods in our churches, and you'll just stop slaughtering the Christians, and I'll stop slaughtering you guys. We'll all get along, and you guys tolerate these pagan gods, and we'll just put these nooks in the churches and the Mary and all this Horus and Isis and all this imagery, and you guys just tolerate it, and you guys just get along, okay?" And he wrote up this, which was called the Edict of Toleration. And this is how what comes today is what as modern Christianity. But that's not, that's Christ divorced his bride Israel for celebrating the same traditions under, you call it Christianity, but I call it the orgy sex god, who was born on December 25th. Christ was not born on December 25th. That's Christianity today, right? Go Christmas, celebrate the Mass. No, that's eating the orgy sex king Jesus, right? The one they celebrated up their Roman pagan, right? Festival. They loved having orgies, and that was an orgy. So it's the orgy Jesus, if you think about it. And I don't think the Most High would be offended. I am Shiloh, Jesus, Christ, whatever name you want to give him, but I don't think he'd be offended by that. He did the same thing. He went in the churches and called out, you do your works of your father, the devil, and called him out as the synagogues of Satan. So he would do the same things today. They're just the same thing. Almost worse in a sense, because there's just been more time to forward or pervert or twist this. And we were warned by the Apostle Paul, they will come preaching another gospel that I did not preach, Christianity. And speaking of another Jesus, the orgy sex king Jesus, that they celebrate the birth of that king Mithra, Apollyon, the one that Mr. Donald John has his whole house decorated with and calls himself a Christian. So, hey, abyss, no, place of no knowledge, no, I will not call myself a Christian. Absolutely not. But all glory to Jesus Christ. Hallelujah. Only way to the Father is through the Son. And there you go, Rebecca. I told you it gets addicting, huh? Oh, yeah, I could just turn off all of this and just do Brother Jim. And if the power went out, well, guess what? I got a whole stack. This is my library for when the world goes bye-bye. Me and Brother Jim will still have our lessons, right? Hallelujah. You better get on there and get some of these before the power goes out, guys. They'll send you 3 of these a month. Sorry, I do gospel on the back of teaching. I give them out too. So better get on those. Better get yourself on that list. They don't charge you anything for them. Yeah, you're either with Christ or you're an antichrist. Thank you, Ross. So that's math. Sorry, that's math. You're either with Christ or you were antichrist. Correct? That's math. So can't be lukewarm. Remember what he says, somewhere in the middle. I'll vomit you from my mouth. So, but think about all these Christians today. They don't, and that's okay. People don't want it. They don't want that aletheia. They don't want that Ruach HaKodesh, the true Holy Spirit that he writes on our hearts and reveals when we seek it out. Correct? He reveals these truths through us, through our studies. That's how we prove ourselves, knowledgeable and prove ourselves. Our works don't get us to heaven. We have to, he reveals that to us. He reveals these things. It's a spiritual thing now. That's why we need to go take time and talk to him away from the world, in a place where, we don't hear the world. So. Yeah. Here we are, one day closer to the Most High. All these jots and tittles coming to pass very quick. Very fast. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, how about that? Doesn't that say somewhere there? Where did it say that in the Word, doesn't it? Oh, it does. It says that in the Word, huh? It says that in my favorite book, huh? I like all the books, but here we are, nearing this circus show that they've been putting on here for nearly 7 years with their distributive fortunes, their distributive fortunes comet coming, their Draco comet, right? The dragon or the devil comet. Oh, you're gonna be able to see the devil comet, guys. Are you watching? You watching the big show? Here we go. Here we go again. The sun's gonna go the wrong way across the United States. Are you ready? It's gonna go through the Ninevehs. I told you. Shiloh. Remember? Signs in the heavens. There was signs. This is the sign of Jonah, another sign, I'm telling you again, spewed out on the belly of the land. Nineveh in 40 days. Here we go, guys. All these numbers, all this stuff I keep telling you. It's in his word. He keeps showing me these things. This is what they are doing. I'm just showing you what they're doing. I'm just giving you the signs that it shows me in the word. This is the same thing they're showing you. Why would it go through 4 Ninevehs? 7 Salems, Jerusalems, Palestine. Yeah, see, there we go. Boom, there it is, right on time. Thank you. It's like, phew. Thank you, Brother Ross. It's gonna cross through Cairo, Little Egypt, Illinois. X marks the spot, Aleph. Look at all the symbology they're doing. Remember I told you all this visual voodoo they're playing with the world. Foreshadowing, they're putting shadows on the ground. How do they shadow on the ground, huh? Isn't that what an eclipse does? It puts down a shadow on the ground. You sure talk a lot of crazy talk, Tracy. Yeah, okay, well, I'll be crazy, but they keep making the sun go the wrong way. Remember, you get it first like New York on New Year's because of the time change, the big ball, the big apple dropping. Sun rises in the east, sets in the west. What's really going on here, huh? Somebody's playing visual voodoo with you. Triple X marks the spot, right? Va, va, va. Unleash the beast. Monster. Here comes that beast system. I believe it's about to be revealed. That's what I believe I see. I ain't no prophet, but there you go. And they've marked it all in the United States. There it is again. It's all there. All the work. I've done all the work. Tried to show you so many ways. 7 years it took. 7 Salems. That's all there. It's all there. I can't make it any clearer. Go back and watch the videos. They're up there. I've done live. I'll do it again. But that's what I'm here to do. I got more messages. Remember? I'll talk about this 10-24-24 celestial alignment. Look up. Look up, for your redemption draweth nigh, your Redeemer, the one who paid the bride price. He's nigh at the door. Are you a foolish virgin? The virgins were wise, remember? It was the extra oil that I keep telling you about. I hope you're putting that extra oil up, brothers and sisters. These daemonions with their devil comet and their helio font and all their logos and all their, it's everywhere. It's like a MasterCard, their logo. Remember? The eclipse, all this. It's everywhere you want to be. Wait, hold on. That was American Express, wasn't it? Never mind. Oh, my silly little, I don't know why I remember all the little catchphrases and jingles and stuff. Maybe I'm weird about that. I'm a strange breed, I tell you. Not of this world, never have been. My dad told me that all the time. Everybody did. Told me I was weird or crazy or, yeah. Feels so good now not to be a part of none of this. You know, it's a little strange at first, but that was always okay. I really didn't even want to be a part of this world. Like I've already told you, if you follow me for a minute, I've never really. This world has just been a burden more than it's. There's things beyond this world that have my attention a lot more than the things of this world. But I do have to pay attention to history. I will not let anybody play politics with me, or history is being made every day. What in the world are you watching? What are you doing about it? You should watch it because they'll tell you something different in the history book. The victor gets the spoils, remember? The victor gets to write the history, not the loser. So you're not really getting history. You're getting one side. That's called jaded or bias. So, anyways, I see it coming plain as day, guys. I hope you're ready for this. I hope you have all your toilet paper for your bunghole and all the stuff you need, all your little, told you, all your little creature comforts. What history? All of it, man. I want to pay attention to all history. I go back and pay attention to hundreds of thousands of years of history, just not history here on the dirt, but the history through the strata, the level, all the stuff I've talked to you about. You know, the paleoclimatology records, all the different ice core data, all the different things. All I look at the historical record of our Earth, the spinning of the things like I told you. 10-24-24 equals 79 AD minus 1 degree. I'll say it again. 10-24-20. In step, ready, step, ready, step. 10-24-24. I'm going to get you marching like soldiers. Listen, 10-24-24 equals, that's just a couple hundred days plus away. 10-24-24. We're going to got to get back in time. I'm always talking about it. I'll go thousands of years back in history. I'm always talking about the time of about 2,000 plus years ago, if you notice that. Then I have a chance of coming back and forth, trying to show you the alignment. 1024 equals 79 AD equals Hados in the same narrow way. We're back into the same cycle again. I'm a guy that loves to pay attention to cycles and thousands and tens of thousands, 12, hundreds of thousands of years of history. I'm not the average Joe. I mean, there's other people who have this information too, but I don't, men's history is one thing, but the stars, that big giant up there, it tells a lot about what's happened on this history too that I'm super interested about because it affects the weather. As I always talk, the weather. 1024 equals 79 AD. We're going back into that celestial gas giant alignment. Okay. Or 4 Jovian stars. I always talk about cycles. And so if you notice, I'm always talking about lots of history. I go back and I pay attention to the cycles of history that repeat themselves. And that's where we're at in history right now, whether the whole world realizes it or not. We're hundreds of days away from something that happened thousands of years ago. And the world can sleep on this, but I'm not sleeping on this. I'm blowing the horn. I'm sounding the message. I'm telling, just like then, the coming of the King, the destruction of the church, the destruction that they're foreshadowing on this earth of what is to come, the futuristic future. That's my thought is always much. I constantly am thinking about the more you want to know about the future, the further you need to go into the past, because history just repeats itself over and over. There's really nothing new under this sun. I mean, yes, 5 allowed world events. You guys, when we were in 79 AD, this earth got rocked, okay, by this celestial gas giant alignment. And our protection, our umbrella, our magnetic canopy, our magnetic shield, the protection that keeps us, it's been hammered on. That's why the sun is not the same color anymore. The last 3 solar cycles have been stepping down. So our protection has been shrinking. The earth's heat makes magnetism dissipate. You throw a magnet in the fire, watch my stream. It's going to be on for a couple hours. Let it die out. You don't have a magnet anymore. It makes it dissipate. So here we are, 25% weakened magnetic shield. That's why we had something that's never been seen. 5 shattered the record. It used to be 2. Now it's been 5 last year. When I told you to look up, it would be the year of everything you see in the sky. And we shattered the record. So I nailed it again. And that's not, I don't want any glory. I pay attention to the cycles. I'm trying to get you to understand what is about to happen on this earth. They're not talking about this. Well, they're getting ready if you pay attention. If your head is not in, these worldly things, like, you still have to pay attention to the things, but you can decipher what's real and what's not. Is the news real? Is what they're teaching our children real? Is what is the music? Is that really what it's all symbology? It's all visual and verbal voodoo. It's not, none of it's real. So you have to have some kind of reality, be able to read between the lines, so same thing with scripture. It comes with definition. You have to go back to the, origins of these things. That's why historical records are very important, to go back and pay attention to the things in the cycles. Because generally, again, that's how Christ works. That's what the book of Revelation is. That's coming back in the same cycle. If you pay attention, it wasn't hard for these prophets, and I'm not a prophet, to predict, because they could foresee the things they were told of the past that were going to come again, to foresee, to prophecy, right? I'm not claiming to be a prophet. That was all nailed to the tree. There's no modern day prophecy. There's no modern day, I don't want to go into. It's all you if you're a believer in the narrow way, you understand it's all spiritual. So, but either way, we were told to look up at these celestial markers. We've shattered the record, which means our magnetic shields are bad. And so all the armies around the world, all this nonsense, and it's not going to stop. I ain't trying to stop a thing, but all that stupid nonsense going on over there in the Middle East and all that should stop. All that stuff going on over there that we've been funding as country, hundreds of billions of dollars, should stop. Every country should stop and tell their nation, say, okay, hey, this is coming. And we need to get ready for this. Even if these economies are down, because they did this. These banksters did this to these nations with their oil wars and all. And we know who's responsible for that. So, but either way, that would stimulate some kind of growth because everybody could start getting ready for this. Just like they did last time in these cycles that this happened in the past. They were more prepared for it in a sense, I believe. Now, in 79 AD, obviously Pompeii was completely covered in ashes, the whole city, and obviously people were warned about that. That's just one event that happened in 79 AD. So, I'd encourage you to look into what was going on this earth in 79 AD to figure out what might happen again. So we're not far off from that, just so you know. And it's not going to be a long event because it's coming into this alignment, but we're already starting to see an increasing in this intensity and the weakening of our magnetism on our earth. And so it's not going to be good. That's why I try to get people to get their head out of their fourth point of contact and realize, just start preparing for weather and have a plan and then move on with your life. It's kind of like just building a shelter. The tornado comes over your house. Oh, I got to get away from this storm. And then the storm blows over and you get out of you live to be here another day. And you're wise. And like Noah built an ark, he was told this was, so I don't know why people wouldn't be doing this. And I know why the governments are not telling anybody now, because we don't live in that time. We live in the time that we live in Satan's world. This is the devil's, earth that was given unto him. There's a third of the angels, not just one guy down here with pointy horns and little pokey tail wearing red leotards. That's your children's devil. He's cunning and wise and mirrors Christ, looks just like him and performs all the same miracles, will rain fire from the sky and perform all these things again, just like Christ. So he's not going to just be this pokey, little devil on your shoulder. That's nonsense. That's Christianity and all that silliness and all the daemonion, one who distributes lies, fortunes, idolatry, one who distributes lies, fortunes to self. So, no, this is Satan's world that you live in, NM. You've got it. You need to study. This world was given unto Satan. You were born of the corrupt dust. Satan has reign over this earth, and God has allowed that because he created Satan. He created evil. He creates evil. He creates all things. So blasphemy. No, this is not God's world. This is Satan's world. It was given unto him, and he will take the evil from this earth and turn it back to his heaven again. And that will happen after he rains fire on this earth. No way in the abyss are you going to tell me that. This world was given in a third of the angels to reign and try to blot names out of that book of the Lamb's book. That's what they're here to do, not messing with people who are already hell bound. This is Satan's world you live in. You better armor up there, NM. Ephesians 6:11, twice he tells you to put on that armor of God. You read that and it'll tell you that you'll come out of that nonsense because it's in his book that this world is given unto Satan. Remember, he was here before we were born unto this earth. Remember, he had already fell like lightning to earth before we were. Genesis, hello. No, this is his playing around. So hopefully we can unforward that. God created this place, but it was given unto him. So this is a test. This is only a test. This is a test to your faith and your knowledge and your, the orge. Are you going to react, respond to these daemonians, distributors of fortune's lies, and fall into self-idolatry, or are you going to do God's will? And, because that is your agape. See, there's a law on this land, and you can't serve two masters. So the master of this world who gets to rule this realm is the daemonians, the distributors of fortunes, the principalities, Ephesians 6:11, spiritual wickedness, powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world. That's who he's talking about in his book. The ones who rule this world, that this world was given unto, to allow them to reign over his, and to, remember, make his bride go through suffering. He allows this. He allows them to come after. But remember, his elect will not be fooled. Maybe blotted out. Maybe blotted out. But the God of this world, there's little g gods. Earth, and he corrupted everything and made it out of corruption, and must be molded and corrected by God to be good. That's right. Hallelujah. By coming to the truth. But this is Satan's world that was given to him. God created this earth. But I want to explain to you, before you even were born in any of this lineage, any of this happened, this world was, he fell like lightning, right, to earth before man and woman, Adam and Eve, were ever born, correct? So this world was already, and we were born of that corrupt dust. So this world was given unto Satan. This is a very special time. This world is going to burn with fire, and he's going to take these principalities, powers, spiritual wickedness, and the rulers of the darkness of this world, and every single bit of it, and he will pull everybody that's ever lived off this earth. On this, doesn't matter the shape. The dead will rise from the ashes of the dust. Nothing, there's no grandma in heaven, none of that nonsense. I am not that spreading that blasphemy. There will be a seventh seal, there will be judgment, and he will raise the dead from the ashes and the dust. And he will judge all the Old Testament, obviously, and he also foreknew. He had prognosko, he had foreknowledge of the ones he predestined, even before he wrote it. He purchased one bride in the beginning. What hashtag, what part of from the foundation of the world do you not understand? It was a one-time purchase, and he bought that even before any of this was written, and paid that, and knew that he would pay that price. That is what the word predestination. He would pull them from the darkness of this corrupt dust. Darkness of this world, of this corrupt dust that we were born. Every single one is, there's not one thing that exists without darkness except for the Most High God. He exists without darkness. Every single one of us and every other thing in this that's ever been and ever will that will be pulled out of that dust has darkness in it. Unless we were innocent like a child and never had that age of understanding, there is a point in our life that turns on. They are with that is who is with the Father. Remember, he said, you must be like a child to return to the Father. I've studied his word, and the meek will inherit the earth. So if you want this new heaven and this new earth, when he pulls this evil from this earth, because this is Satan's world right now, but it'll be given back. The heavens and the ruler and class of this earth will be given back to his bride after that wedding feast of the lambs. Hallelujah. This ain't no religion. This is what it says in that book. If you'll pull this religious nonsense, I like to not only be able to help people come to this word because he draws people through me to it. It's only him doing it, but I can give it an understanding and unfurled because it's complicated, but it's not that complicated. He will destroy this place with fire because this world was given unto Satan. He's going to take every bit of this corrupt dust and he's going to make it holy and clean again when he burns it with fire. But everything on this earth is going to have to burn, and everything that's ever been and ever will be raised from this corrupt dust, and he will burn it and judge it and send it through that seventh book, whether it was an atheist, a Baptist, a Christian, a bleed, a caveman, I don't care. It will all pass through the book of judgments if the age of understanding and accountability came on in its brain. We don't have that age of innocence. It turns off at one point because, yes, there is one point you have no idea what you're doing, and then bam. So think about it. You're pretty young. Even those young will be risen and pass through that book unless you're like innocent like a child. And that's why he said you must be innocent like a child to return to the Father. That's why if he's going to burn you with judgment through those fiery trials that he does here, he's also going to pass you. You think anything that's going to come back in this new heaven and new earth, they go pass through? What cleanses this earth better than anything? Makes a new grow like a new. It's tough that it happens. My father died in fire. He died from fire, an explosion. Fire's really touching to me, but fire brings back new life, and it grows even more because it burns back that nutrients. It brings back new growth that's even more sometimes beautiful than what was, because a thinning sometimes of the herd is a good thing. You got to thin this earth, but it ain't going to be nothing here, brothers and sisters, but pure children. And they will rule this earth. Just you watch. I know this. I've read this book over and over. I've said this. I don't mean to be tense too much, get a little woo-woo, but just read the word. You must be like a child to return to the Father. The meek will inherit the earth. So this world is Satan's world. This is not... God created this place, but we are not here in some playground to be not taking this word lightly. That's why he tells us 2 times in Ephesians, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. May the power of his might put on the armor of God, that we be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore I say unto you, Put on the whole armor of God. He tells you 2 times as a witness, as he always declares, you need to have that armor of God on, and that is the word. That is the Holy Spirit. That is the Aletheia. That is the Ruach HaKodesh. And only those that seek and ask him for these truths, this Aletheia, well, does he reveal what's already written on our hearts, as he tells us, because it's him inside of us. That is where the heavens are at this point in time. Our body is a temple. The ruling class, you could either be ruled by Christ or you could be ruled by these other masters. You cannot serve 2 masters. He tells us that you cannot serve mammon, even self, or these rulers of the darkness of this world that currently rule over this place. But I read his word. He's going to take every single bit of it that ever was ever here that was evil and pass that through that book of judgments. And he's going to cleanse this earth. And he's going to do it with the sun. He's going to do it with fire, brothers and sisters, and all this electric universe that we live in, that we've created. Back during the Carrington event in 1859, when our sun got smashed, our magnetosphere, this thing I'm telling you about, it caused our technology, everything at that time, to go down. And we are way more hooked up. That was just the telegraph back then. You know, the operator's hands and some of their ears and their headsets, they were burnt and electrocuted, and some of the machines were still sending things out when they were unplugged. That was the technology at the time. Everything is hooked up to the grid. I see everything going up like these chili bowl, like we saw, like drinking the dew over there in, you know, the Maui blast, how the whole thing turns to ashes. There's obviously some other assistance because he gets to rain like fire from the sky. The devil gets to do that, remember? Don't forget, it's already happening, brothers and sisters. Judgments are already the seals are open. I hope you understand how close, and I ain't picking a day or an hour, but you should be able to look up at the things I've told you. The celestial conjunction of the time of Christ has already happened again in 2015. The Shiloh sign was seen in 2017 as Jupiter passed Leo, the lion, the scepter, the lion from the tribe of Judah, the king, the lion king. The scepter shall not depart from Judah until Shiloh returns. The return of the king, the second coming of Christ in the heavens, that he said that would happen in the heavens, in the stars. He gave that witness again to Brother John, right? At the island of Patmos, the apostle John. And he was given that apocalypse, that revelation of the great sign in the heavens, of the virgin, of the second coming of Christ in the heavens, again in the heavens. And that happened in 2017, and the world is sleeping on that. But it didn't mean that he didn't say it was going to happen. It didn't mean that it didn't happen again. It did. So we were right back in that same celestial alignment we were at 79 AD. That's when the temple was destroyed. How much you want to bet that that word of God will be destroyed on this earth? And it's going to be hard to get at unless it's written on your heart or you have a hard copy of it. Because I believe this sun is going to already starting to take down this. Why do you think Mr. Stinky Musk couldn't get his satellites up in the air? Why do you think there's things that are already happening on this earth? It's not, you don't see low latitude auroral events. With M-class flares, guys, that's not a thing. That's never happened. And then 5 of them in 1 year, that shattered the records. This is happening already. We're going to go back in this celestial alignment right at the time of Christ, right near at this time. Same in that same Hados, in the same way. 79 AD equals 1024 minus 1 degree of arc and 360 degrees of arc, like the Hebrew calendar, 360 days, 360 degrees in a perfect circle. Don't fall for this perversion. What's going on right now? They're not telling anybody about this because they're not of God. God should be speaking to your heart and showing you these things, brothers and sisters. He didn't leave these celestial markers at the time of Christ back then. Do not think that the temple was not destroyed back then at that time. And what happened to that Ark of the Covenant, I ask you? Have you done any research on that? They're going to have you believing in aliens and all this nonsense coming out of the sky because we're not there yet, brothers and sisters. He's nigh at hand, but they're going to bring on their little electric panopticon world. We've seen it in the movies. They've already revealed what they're about to do. They're going to bring in their AI antichrist system. It's spiritual now, brothers, sisters. If you fall for this nonsense, it's all a spiritual battle anyways. It was all blotted out in the handwriting of ordinances in the book of Colossians 2 and 14. As I warned of the blotting out of his elect, out of that book, there are amendments and changes that are made. He'll make them again. When I return, no one will know my authority. No one will know my law. No one will know my agape. No one will know my love. No one will know my Shem. No one will know my name. Is what your lollipop Motel 6 Bible says. But it says that name means Shem, and Shem means authority, and authority means love. Love means agape, and love is the law. 2 John and 6. Walk and follow my commandments. I'm not asking you, Peter, do you phileo me? Do you love me? Do you agape me, Peter? Do you love me? 2 John and 6. You walk and follow my commandments. Yep, only those who fear the Lord will have their name written in the book of remembrance. Remember that, Kinetic. Only those that fear the Lord. There are 3 books. I don't talk of that 3rd book very often. Not too many study it and know of its existence, but there are 3 books. Obviously, we all pass through that book of judgments that I tell you that's coming. It is coming. They're marking it on the ground. The sign of Nineveh, Jonah, these things I've been telling you already. The signs I see on the ground. I've given you 2 signs of Jonah. Now, showing you that they are marking it and showing you that if they don't mark this April 8th eclipse as it going through 4 Ninevehs in its wrongward path, going the wrong way across the United States, the sun traveling from the west to the east as it marks 4 Ninevehs, passes through Little Cairo, Illinois. This isn't true. But they're still doing this. The devil gets to perform all the same wonders. Do you not see what is happening here? They are foreshadowing the coming of the destruction of this country, this new mystery Babylon, this one that people drink. Remember, he warned, if you drink of the cup, he warned, if you partake in her ways, the same thing, this freedom. There's no such thing as freedom. God is the only sovereign free thing above the law. He created the law. Everything else is under the law. It's either the agape, 2 John and 6, love. No one will know my name, he says. When I return, no one will know my name. I will make a new name. So obviously we must have not, I was talking about this before I came off the stream last night. Obviously we didn't get it all right. But obviously he's going to have to make amendments, because once he says, as I says, he takes every single bit of this evil from this earth and he burns this place with fire. Everything that's ever lived, ever was, ever will be, will rise from the ashes of the dust and will pass through that book of judgments, as I tell you. Only Goss will go to that Lamb's book of life, but only those that fear the Lord will be written in that book of remembrance, brothers and sisters. So remember, there are 3 books. There are 3 books. Not just that Lamb's book and not the book of judgments, but the book of remembrance. And I encourage you to look into this. It says in that book that only those that fear the Lord, and we're not supposed to live in fear, but only those that fear the Lord. Remember, I told you fear gets you up off your rear hiney and gets you to make you to do something to ease and comfort that fear, so you don't live in fear. And then you have security, and you find that in him. You will find that in him. If you cut off yourself, you cut off this idolater, you cut off these daemonions, these distributor fortunes, these lies, that aletheia reveals. It's always been written on our hearts, brothers and sisters. Those that seek it, because he says, go find me. Go find, in every way and shape, cut off this world. Don't do this. Don't do that. That is him. That is him inside you. That he says, if I did not call out to their hearts to seek after me, they're so idolaters. We are so carnal. We love our flesh. Not one of us would, guys. So see, I told you it is him. You thought I was crazy there for a second, huh? No, it's him making us do it. He calls us to him. It's not us doing it. So don't be an idolater. If we think we're doing it, then that's idolatry. He's doing it. He wills all things, either through self-will, and he already knew what we were going to do before we even did it. Why even ask him for anything? He knows what you want. I mean, you can, but it's not like he doesn't already know what you want if he created all things, right? So how can anything have free will? I rest my case. All right. I used to be in law enforcement. I want to lay down a pretty good case there on you before I slam that gavel. I think the judge is adjourned, and it says that, yeah, the aletheia will set you free. So he creates all things. It's not you doing it, brothers, sisters. He calls us to him, and he creates vessels of wrath fitted for destruction from what part of the foundation of the world do you not understand? From the foundation of the world, before it was ever written. Remember? He purchased his bride way back then. Even before the New Testament, he already bought his bride. He knew he would already make a New Testament. And remember, he said, when I return, no one will know my testament, my law, my old and new, and I'll have to make a new one. Remember? Law, Shem, authority, God. Am I wrong? See? I rest my case. I didn't even need to add that other. You can strike that from the record. It's all very contract to him. Remember, it's a bride price contract that between a bride and a groom. And if we're supposed to go to the wedding feast of the lambs, I hope you understand we're under that contract. Yeah, I know we're not under the law, but he fulfilled law. But remember, there's a testament that he made, and he commands. It's a will. It's a new living will and testament that he made for his new bride. Remember? They had to go nail it to wait a second. If he paid a bride price contract, and he did pay that to cover us, obviously he'll be our mediator pitching no, I covered this, I'm paying the ransom. No, I got their sins. I remember, that was the deal that we had. If I paid for their sins and I paid for the ransom, you'd let them go, right? Remember, so that's why we need to have the only way to the Father is through the Son. He is our mediator. If you think of it as an attorney, and if he did pay for your sins, because obviously none of us are worthy of his kingdom. If he says a sin is a sin, and the wages of sin is death, I don't think any of us are, I think we're all out of luck. So it's a good thing we have that mediator and that he paid that bride price. But remember, if it was a bride price that he paid in blood, and he made that blood contract, yeah, none of us are worthy. Really, we are. If you really think about what he did for the whole world, because we are carnal. We really just love our flesh, and it's really hard for us to just shake off the things. I mean, we still have to live in the flesh, okay? Again, we got maybe kids or bills, whatever. But very few people take the time daily to sup with him, to seek these things, and it's a rarity. You might have friends that say they're this or this denomination or that, but do they daily suffer because of not participating in the things of this world? And see, that's not religious. That's the contract we're under. That's the bride price he paid in suffering, and he has, remember, if you want to be saved, you must endure. And endurance isn't like a little jaunt again, or like a little sprint, or, a short distance. Endurance is like a marathon, right? You have to endure to the end to be picked up. Remember, from the foundation of the world, he bought you and he paid for you. And you got to go through hell pretty much. Not hell, because remember, this isn't hell. This is earth, but it's not heaven on earth for us yet. He will destroy this place with fire, and those that are meek, those that turn their cheek, those that let vengeance be his and let God fight all your battles for you, like a child, will return to the Father. And the Father is in our Father who art in heaven, correct? That's what he said. Not one of us, not on us, all right? That's right, though, Rebecca. Think about that, sister. That's why we need to walk and follow in his commandments. And he'll tell us, just let him beat you. Let him beat the self out of you. Let him beat that stuff. And it's so cool that it's tailored fit. There's something you're doing, Ashley, in your life that Rebecca's not doing, or Rebecca's doing that you're not doing. And for either of you, he might, whatever, because you're doing different things. Hopefully that still voice inside your head is telling you to stop doing it. And it's you that just keeps doing it because it's self. You know what I'm saying? God tells us, people, remember? So, okay, hallelujah. So then you know what I'm saying. I love it. It's like, I don't mean to compare it, but it's like Mr. Warp Speed with his jab, I'm not saying that, but Ashley, you might be one of these ladies that's 4'9" and weighs 70 pounds or something, 68 pounds. And, you know, they give it to a 555-pound man. The same Jabadewski. Remember, it was a one size fits all. You know what I'm saying? How they did that. You know, they gave that one thing, and it didn't matter if somebody was 68 pounds or 500 pounds. They're like, roll up your sleeve, or here you go. Remember? Like a snapback fat. You know, it was one size fits all. But that's a beautiful, I apologize for the analogy, but that's the beautiful thing about what's inside our head is God speaks to each one of us independently and tells us how to cut off those things or stop or start doing in our own lives. He makes us feel guilty and scared and fear him and know that. And that's a beautiful thing, sisters. That's a beautiful thing. That's him talking to you. And if we just listen to it more, it tells us how to be more righteous, you know? So, and that's not religious. And that's what people miss out by going to these houses made by hands. I don't think any of their teachers teach them that. And we learn that through fellowship. And we learn that, you know, I read it in his word. You know, I go to a dark, quiet place, you know, and pray in secret, you know, and don't blab it out to the world and just talk to him, you know. So I don't know. That's the beautiful thing about the blessing of what he's given me is I live on 40 acres of land. I have that dark, quiet place, not literally dark, you know. I think that he's not, again, he doesn't speak with marbles in his mouth, but he's trying to get you to get away from the lights, the city. Remember, I say all the time, the Broadway, big city lights, you know, the whole, but get away from that, the lights and the sirens and the noise and the music and the sound and go to somewhere where you can hear that voice. So, you know, a dark place, quiet and secret, you know, dark is a place without the noise of the city and the interruption of the kids and whatever it is, a place where you can hear that voice. So I feel so blessed that I live on this 40 acres of land and I don't hear anybody, you know, ever out here. And sometimes I get lonely and stuff and it sucks. But sometimes I really too realize how blessed that I am to have, as I've said before, you know, so many thousands of hours inside my own head, you know, that would drive a man crazy. But a lot of the times it's just me and him, you know, and it's what it is almost all the time. He's my counselor. I don't have the phone ring. If I don't come in here and gripe and complain about my poor solitude life, he makes me live on 40, you know, beautiful piece of property that I just can't share with anybody. That hurts me, but I still have to count my blessings and know how blessed I am that, again, I've said I can go outside and go anywhere on this property from front to back and I can lay down in the driveway and just lay there. I've done it on a video and just lay down in the driveway, just looked up and just so quiet, and where you can always hear that still voice inside your head. So I feel so blessed to have that. And I really think it's a bummer because people don't take time to listen to that voice that's inside their head, you know, and that's him. That's the Ruach HaKodesh. That's the Holy Spirit. That's the voice, again, that I told you at one point inside our head, that voice of accountability turns on and says, Ashley, don't go take little Johnny's bike, or, you know, little Johnny's mom's going to come out and dad, you're going to get home and dad's going to whip your butt, or, you know, whatever. There's a voice inside your head. Your parents like try to take all the fame. Oh, I taught my kids. I'm a father, you know, I got a son, and I didn't teach my son the difference between right and wrong. It's something turned on inside his head. Obviously I tried like heck, but I realized that, you know, that's not us doing that. There's something that inside our voice, and that's him. It's always been there. I think people maybe who have some disabilities, that's probably different. I'm not sure how that works, and they're innocent like a child. So I think anybody that's like that, boy, they're a gift from God. If you ever asked me, when I was younger, I always liked in school and stuff. I went and tried to work with people who had disabilities and stuff, just because I felt like they were just normal people. But they're gifts, you know. They're truly, think about if that voice never turns on, and they're, oh gosh, brings tears back. Okay, hold back the tears. They're a blessing and they're a gift from God. But all of us, we're so, if that voice turns on inside our head, guys, and we understand, we're accountable. We are accountable. And so all glory to God that he's there too from the beginning for us, you know, and that he gave us that voice of accountability, and starts putting us through those fiery trials, guys, from a young age. You know, from a young age, we start getting tested. If you think about it, everybody's always worried about, oh, the NSA's watching me and the government's watching me and they got all these things. The Most High knows everything you've ever done. He's judging you from the minute you that age accountability turned on. If you pass, he's going to pull you from this dust and he'll judge you then, you know. So, but that's nothing to fear in a sense like that, brothers, sisters. That's where we find our rest and our solitude, if you ask me, and knowing that, yeah, the things of this world are tough, but you know what? There's more comfort in him. Yeah, I shouted that from the minute. I'm a farmer, kinetic. We vaccinate our livestock that way. You have your mucous membrane where you can penetrate that. It's like your Christus up there. It's that holy of holies up in there near your pineal. That's more, but it's that there's a vapor, or not a mucous membrane, and without you know, a hollow fang, you know, an injection, you can penetrate that mucous membrane and you know, that's not a thing. I don't, God, I wish people, I gotta be careful because YouTube's a little catchy about with this subject. You can talk about the beer bug, but I always try to dance around that for the algorithm. But see, I'm not into, I used to be a first responder. I was a police officer, you know, certified combat medic, all that. You know, I have a lot of extensive training in health and studying nutrition. I feel like you can have made doctors feel very guilty at pointing the same thing out to them, talking to them about this, telling them what they did was they knew it and they got paid for some of the other things. And because they're so studied, and fortunately I've studied a lot what they've studied, and then be able to study things that they don't study because they stay within the box. They learn what's within the box. I study what's inside the box and then what's outside of the box that they can't talk about, or probably don't even, they get paid too much to just shut up and do their job. You know, two snakes going up a pole should warn you that the pharmakia is, there's nothing in my eyes that is man-made. That I don't believe in any man-made. I'm 100% holistic, you know, and I'm not giving you any advice, you know, doctor's advice to cover my own butt here, or any kind of medical advice. Consult your own two snakes going up a pole doctor before you make any changes in whatever you're doing. But man always tries to copy and says he can make better than what God made, and I 100% disagree. I don't think man can make things better than God. We can alchemy, create things from these elements, but when it comes to the holistic side of medicine, I don't agree with that. I don't think that if we just went back to all the things that are naturally here, I don't think we'd have the side effects. And I'm sure there would be some side effects from even just the natural things, but I don't think we'd have oligas, just a tiny fraction of the side effects to begin with. And that's a lead out to their, you know, like one thing leads to another. That's their, it's a trap, guys. Well, you know, take this one, and by the time somebody's even my age, you know, they are starting to take 5 or 6 pills. They get another 10 years, take another couple more. The doctor's got to fix this because of that and this and that. So I don't agree with it. So, but anyways, with the whole Jabadooski, all you have to do is research. Let's remember basic virology on how this works. You know, again, I think I'm going to try to pass on the analogy, but it works sometimes to make people understand how they do this. You know, they say, we're going to put a little bit of this inside of you, and then that's going to make you build up an immune response, and you will fight it off. And now you'll have that, you know, in your system where you'll be able to fight that off, you know. And that's the basic mechanics behind virology, you know, is building up an immunity, putting in just the tip, I guess we'll call it. So doesn't normally work out like we think, guys or ladies will tell you that, but I don't think they've ever had somebody say that and that was how it went down. It always turns out being something else, doesn't it? So I apologize I went there, but that's the whole idea behind virology, and that's not what they did here. And I don't agree with that, because you can look into autoimmunity, and we have autoimmune responses that our body, if we get sick, if we overwork our body, if we overstress our body, if we don't get enough sleep, if we don't take in enough nutrition, there's ways that our body naturally corrects itself. And that's what a virus is. It's a program. It's not alive. It's not a living organism. Remember Microsoft, Bill Gates, your computer gets the virus? Well, if people could have looked that up, we would have never had to gone through the last 4 years. I did it. I put out the information. It's still on my internet page. Just look it up. Ask these, whatever this B system, ask the current one. That's what I did. I didn't even ask an alternative one. I asked the one that should give me the most biased answer, and it still didn't deny it, that it's not alive. So if something's not alive, that means it's dead, right? And it's just a program. It's an it. It's not even alive. It's a program. And that's, I told you, that's what our body does, is it corrects itself. And that's, hey, we're lacking, we need more calcium over here or whatever, but it's just a program. It doesn't, no, bacteria is alive though. Okay. Your body produces 3, which can give you, okay, look, let me put it to you this way. I'll try to spin a little bit quicker here. A doctor's not wearing a mask because of a virus. I told you that's a program. You can't spit a program out on somebody. It's dead anyways. It's just a program, and it actually is part of your autoimmune response. If you get sick, your body produces 3 autoimmune responses, either a bacteria, right, a virus, or a fungus. Okay? Hear me out. Bacteria, a fungus, or a virus. The bacteria, that can get in an open wound. That's why a doctor wears that mask to, and nurse changes it about every 30 minutes. He normally doesn't even touch it. The nurse come in there and he changes it. And that's because if you get a bacteria inside an open wound, you can get an infection, and that can cause a patient to die, okay, from infection. Same thing with the fungus. Our body produces a fungus as well. Okay, bacteria and funguses are not all bad, like we have gut bacteria, and so, but that fungus is alive, guys, okay, and that can kill us. The doctor knows that, but every one of these doctors is very aware of what I'm telling you, that a virus is not a living organism, and they're not wearing that mask to protect anybody from a virus. You can't catch a virus. It's dead. It's a computer program. It's actually part of our system. And if we don't have the right parameters, we stress it, does a correction. It just tells a certain, I need you to shut off. Oh, Rebecca, hey, come on, broke my back twice, and I got more. Oh, I'll start talking about back pain. Anyways, hey, I'm upright. The doctors told me 12 years ago I'd have to have major reconstructive back surgery, and here I am still. So, but I'll try to get into that. I would suggest cannabis oil for sciatica and nerve. That's the best thing I've found, like Rick Simpson oil. And that stuff's not going to make you, I don't know what state you live in. It's none of my business. But if you live in a state where there's medical, you can get access to that. There's still CBD, which is legal in all states. I would try that. Normie people, and it takes a regimen of staying on that for a little bit for it to work. Is unfortunately, you sound like a doctor now, but yeah. A virus is not a living organism, so you can't catch an organism. And so that whole scamdemic thing was, you guys, because remember, I'm a veteran, and covering your face and breathing in your own, carbon dioxide back in for extended periods of time causes what is called an outer respiratory infection you get. It's not inside your lungs, but outside of your lungs from too much carbon dioxide. And like I said, veterans like myself, you got to remember some at 110, 100, in the hot, in the heat, and for 10 hours, a day or whatever. Oh, there's no chemicals here. There's no of it. Oh, make sure you got all this chemical gear on, nuclear biological chemical gear for 10, 12 hours a day. There are veterans, uh, that have gotten outer respiratory infections and they can't wear. And I try to tell people that during the whole scamdemic, like, you guys are out of your minds. You got to remember, some of us veterans, we had to wear these masks for extended periods of time, and you get an outer respiratory infection, you're more prone to getting that every single time. Like frostbite in your finger, or like heat exhaustion. Once you get that, you're more prone to having that. So, yeah, I gave people such a hard time during and I'm like, you guys got where people with like COPD covering their faces. You guys are out of your mind. You've lost your mind. You have no idea about health or nutrition or anything. You've never studied anything. You're ignorant. I don't care if you call yourself a doctor or whatever, so you guys, anybody who knows virology, knows that's how they supposedly work, but that's not what they did to people, guys. That's not what they gave anybody. That's not what was administered to these people. And so, it's insane in the membrane how little people study. Like I said, you could have gone on Google or whatever, just asked it, is a virus alive? And that's going to tell you it wasn't. People, wait a minute, it's not alive. How are we catching something that's dead? And they looked into virology and looked into autoimmune response, autoimmunity, and looked into these things. They would realize that this is not real. And that something completely different was administered to anybody who took that. Was not given, we'll call it what I say, whack the nation, right? You get a whack the nation, right? Whack the nations. Everybody got their whack the nations, right? So, but that's not what they did. Remember, it was a mRNA. That's why I want you to go look at that symbology of the Reiki symbol of the warp speed logo and start understanding what they just did to people. Because it wasn't, oh, take this little bit and you'll build up. No, they put a messenger, tapped into their DNA, and produced an autoimmune response, or in this case, the protein spike. But no, they're not. They're beautiful, kinetic, because they're God, a gift from God. You understand? Hey, NM, any more of your nonsense with your lollipop Christian crap, you're out of here. Your body's a temple. You're supposed to take care of your temple. You're not supposed to put this stuff in your body. You use some discernment here. Don't please do that crap. Yeah, you need to take care of your body and take care of your health and nutrition. Don't say that. I'll time you out for 24 hours. Please don't push that lollipop Christian crap in here. Your body's a temple. You're supposed to take care of your body. It's very important you make sure that you're eating properly as you can, that the spirit should be calling out. Don't worry about your health and stuff. Nonsense. I'm almost just want to time you out now for that. That's disgustingly filthy. Oh, don't worry about your temple. Don't take care of your temple. Don't just shove all this. Hey, just go to eat McDonald's every day, eat those fries, knowing what they do, those outgassing. Just eat all this genetically modified food. You'll be okay. Please don't push that crap. Health and nutrition is extremely important. So don't listen to what NM said. That's blasphemy. You could be secure in the Lord and stuff, but he should be calling out to you to tell you to take care of yourself. Eat healthy. Don't try to eat this. Why do you think I kicking so hard to try to come out here and eat organic food? And I haven't been able to be totally off of it, but I don't eat fast food anymore. My son, when I went into town, he tried to get me to eat. So I'm like, I'm not going to eat nothing like that. So please don't say that, NM. That's nonsense. Your body's a temple. You're supposed to take care of yourself. It's very important. I know it's not what goes in a man or a woman that defiles them. Okay. I understand that. I teach that, but our body is a temple and we're supposed to take care of ourselves. Nutrition and health is extremely important. I'm sure the Lord, we don't eat crap, you know, um, and eat poisons and poisons our bodies if we can help it. So, um, please, I appreciate you having in there, but don't ever say that again. Health and nutrition is extremely important, guys. And you should be, remember, if you can't read it, we shouldn't be even eating it. So, yeah, don't try to get your access to the freshest, cleanest food you can. And just, I know it's near impossible, but don't just shove poison in your faces. That's not how the Most High works. He doesn't want us to sit there and destroy our temple. So that's an apostasy to God. And I won't allow that kind of nonsense. That sounds like a bunch of Christian crap. I'm going to be raptured and don't worry about it. You can eat whatever you want. God loves everybody. So, no. Remember, our parents used to make us eat a balanced meal and all that stuff, but it's all gone away from that. But let's get back to what I was saying. Um, there you go. You got to take care of yourself, guys. Exactly. That's a good way to put it. So, uh, yeah, cool. No, I'm not saying just please don't. Your body's a temple. You got to take care of yourself, and don't tell people that they don't have to worry about what they put in their bodies. That's very important. What we, it's not what goes in us that defiles us; it's what comes out of us. But yes, we have to take care of ourselves as a vessel. If we're not, again, if we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not at our, optimal things. We're not doing we're not using this vessel properly. Um, so we need to take care of our temple, and our body is a temple. So, and He reigns within us. So we need to take care of that thing that, on this outer portion of it. And yeah, I think if you came to more, and I'm not saying you're not spiritual, but if you came to Christ, you'd understand that we need to take care of ourselves. I used to eat a lot of crap, do a lot of things that I don't do anymore. I just won't do it. I haven't had soda in 7 years or something like that. It's been a long time since I drank a soda. I haven't smoked a cigarette in 20 some years or something. There's certain things I don't do. I won't. I mean, I choose not to eat pork. That's not a thing, and we're not under that law, but there's just certain things I don't want to put in my body too, because I know we're not supposed to sit there and, you know, I wasn't always good to my temple. Let's just put it that way. I was a veteran, a police officer, and was crazy and always broke bones and stuff and did that. But I try to steer clear of anything like that now. That's not, well, I just feel better. I feel better when I don't. So you can do what you want, but please don't tell people to not be cautious of what they're putting in their body, because what the government just did and through the churches was they made everybody and just bowed to Mr. Jabadewski and told everybody to take that jab. Kind of like you just said it's okay, and no, it wasn't okay. All those churches should have been making people very aware that we don't bow to this filth that they have put on people, this disgusting um, lie. And it's blasphemy what they've done to people, because what they told people what they did and what they actually did is two different things. So that's why you should be a little cautious too about what you put in your body, and maybe have a little discernment, if you will, because you realize nobody got whacked the nation. That's not what they did. They tapped into the DNA. They had a DNA program, but they scrapped it and they went with this mRNA. But it still does. It's a messenger relay. I'm not going to go into all. I don't want to careful with this algorithm here. They do not like this subject, but you can discover these things. Nobody wore a mask for no doctor wore a mask because somebody has, some virus, that's not how that works. A virus is a beautiful thing. And because it's our body naturally correcting itself, and it's from God. So see, they perverted that too, didn't they? It's a natural autoimmune response. Yeah, gluttony. There you go. Yeah, gluttony's a sin. So I live as a minimalist. I try to live like a minimalist. I try to live the opposite way. I don't want to. I mean, I've gone big a lot of things in life. I've always grew up kind of like that. You know, my family was always into none of that. But it's the little things now that mean a lot more to me. Um, I don't know. I find joy in repurposing things and recreating what from what was already here, and not trying to just tear down and keep building and make all this alchemy that we do. I don't like. Remember, I live in the place that I built out here in the desert looks like a movie set, so to speak, like an old Bonanza movie set or something. You know, I live like I'm in the 1800s and like a minimalist because yeah, I don't. Gluttony is one of the worst things. So, how about 5 boosters? I think that would be gluttony. What do you think? I think you've been over boosted. But I really wish I've had to live with this for since the beginning of this thing, guys. Knowing that I already studied health and nutrition for decades and decades. I got almost 30 years of studying in health because I didn't always take care of myself. And I started streamlining some of these things a long time ago, out of my life, and just try to feel better too, because I had injured myself when I was very young, broke my back in the military, didn't tell anybody about it because I didn't want to get kicked out of the military because I went in the military with a back problem, already had been diagnosed with scoliosis and wasn't so extreme that I couldn't have somebody help me to get around that test, which I did. And so I was always scared once I actually hurt myself in the military. If I told them, they were going to take an x-ray of my back and I'd be kicked out, get medically discharged. So I didn't tell anybody. So I've always had some kind of issue with that, and um, pain. But that's part of exactly where he wants me to be. Because if he didn't want that to happen in my life, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I think I wouldn't be able to stand up with the strength that I am because it's happened more than one time. And but it is him that I draw my strength through, because obviously the bones and the things are weak. But since I've had injuries and stuff since I was young, um, I've studied a lot, and then being in law enforcement, being a first responder as a traffic crash investigator, I learned all that EMT and emergency training, and I basically have all the same training that an EMT has because I am a first responder. I'm going to get there before the EMT gets there, and I got to put your body back together, or pieces, whatever that's come apart, and um, put you back together before they get there, patch you up or whatever. Yeah. So, anyways, health has always been and nutrition has always just been something that has been intriguing to me, and I studied it from the time I was about 20 years old. I started really looking into health and nutrition, and so I've got about 30 years of studying, and I figured that out pretty young, at a young age too, about autoimmune responses. And I've always been, that's why I would never um, let my son be jabbed by anything. I didn't want him to have, and was his mom was able to convince her too, is that we're not going to do that to this child. I'm not going to sit there and put all this. He doesn't need any of this. We don't want any of this in him, you know. And you can read on the stuff that you give your kids, even if they give them the thing, not just a little sheet they give you. You can ask for the thing that they give that these. And it's a big, long, huge list. It's crazy how much stuff is in them, and people don't even pay attention to what they put in their kids. So, um, anyways, I I discovered at a young age too that virology is a scam, and it's not what they're saying it is. It's a lie. Modern medicine is a lie. Uh, it creates more problems with most people. There's so many side effects to the things they do have that does work, such as radiating somebody that has cancer, you know, um, kills the good cells and the bad cells. That's why people have so many side effects, lose their hair, all these, there's other ways, you know, um, and that don't have the side effects. And the natural way to take care of cancer would be cannabis. It doesn't cure all cancers, but it cures most of them. I've been a medicinal cannabis grower, and said I've been able to have that ability to have the ability to cure cancer with the medicine I've grown. So, because it goes out and it attacks the cancer cells, but it leaves the good cells behind. They give it to people that have immune deficiency, people whose immune response. Remember, I was talking about their autoimmune response. Have a problem with autoimmunity. I was talking about autoimmune responses, the 3 autoimmune responses your body has. Well, people have a problem with autoimmunity. That would be AIDS, autoimmunity deficiency syndrome, remember? And that's why they would give cannabis to AIDS patients, because it helps secure and pump back up that immune system, kind of like the disc that sits between your 2 vertebrae. It keeps that cushion from your sciatic nerve being pinched. Keeps that all space and nice and where it's supposed to be. That's what cannabis does in your immune system. So that's why it works for autoimmunity. It has a billion different uses, honestly. And that's why they probably would never want it to be part of medicine like they have, and because it would cancel out a ton of different medicines. And I'm not even talking about the kind that, THC that makes people, get high. I'm talking about all the other properties that cannabis has medicinally that we don't use. So, so yeah, I really wish people would go back to the more holistic type of medicines, and the earth gives us so many things that we wouldn't have to take none of this. So watching this whole um, Jabadooski thing and seeing people not being actually, given the V, but actually the mRNA, it's hard to watch, guys, because I know what that is. I know what they did to people. I know what that leads to. And it wasn't just that they put him in. That thing was so multifaceted. And remember, still to this day, when you open up the sheet, it doesn't tell you what's in it. Only have people been able to go around and find, but it still doesn't list everything that's in that jab or any of the boosters, which to me are all the same thing. It takes 12 to 15 years to put some, a V to market through short, medium, and long-term testing. So it's going to be kind of interesting here, because people have forgotten how long short, long, and medium-term trials are. We're just still in the short-term part of trials, so we don't even know what's going to happen to people when they get into the medium, the ones that already haven't been affected, which I believe has been by the millions. And there's, I think, possibly a whole trillion people have been unalived from that, whack the nation. So, which wasn't a whack the nation, remember, it was a messenger that they put into their DNA, plus a bunch of other different stuff if you've studied. So, but anyways, it's hard. It's hard, as I said, it's hard living. We just lived through that whole thing. That whole thing was a lie. The whole thing was a lie. All of it, the whole science behind it was ridiculous. So, I don't know. I don't know why it's so hard to live in this world, knowing from the beginning I made it through that. I guess it's okay. I made it through that. That's people. Why did you do what you do? Because I knew it was a scam from the beginning. They held an event saying they were going to do it before they ever did it. You know, exactly what they were going to do, exactly what they were going to name it, everything. They didn't even try to hide it. So, and here we are today. Everybody's just going along to get along. It's incredible, guys. It just, my mind is just, it's so numb sometimes how little people care about anybody else sometimes, about the society as a whole, and they just let these governments run roughshod. And think about that. That was a worldwide scamdemic. Every one of them, lockstep governance. All of them. Stand on the X, go inside, flatten the curve, shut down your small business. You know, it's incredible. Like, it's hard to believe we're still here. You know, and the people have just, I don't know. At one point, I didn't think they were ever going to shut it off. You know, it's like, oh, well, society's just lost their minds. They could just stomp these people into the ground now. They could take control and do whatever they want. Executive Order 11004 allows the Federal Emergency Management Agency to relocate whole communities and put them into work camps, YouTube. Remember, I said that. Yeah, that's all I use. I won't take anything else. I generally use oil, and that works for me. You know, nothing's going to cure I need to have reconstructive back surgery. I can't fix my problems with, no medicine's going to cure. No pills going to kill my ills. Oh, never mind. What song was that? Darn, you're old, Tracy. I haven't heard that song in a country minute. So I gotta throw some more wood on the fire here. We're chilling out here at the cabin. We got snow on the ground. Oh man! Come on, spring! I need spring to get here. I need to get that shelter done. I'm really just taking my cross up here and burning time, because the only thing I think that matters here pretty soon is, do you have a place to get away from the weather? You know, like, we just had a tornado in California again. Tornadoes in California. Tornadoes in California. No, everything's the same. Everything's awesome. Nothing's happened. Nothing's shifted. Nothing's different. Everything is awesome. So what's your 10, 24, 24 plans, guys? What are you doing about 10, 24, 24? What are you going to do if I'm right, and on April 8th, or Easter Fools, on Easter Fools, the first of Easter, April, they shut the lights out? What are you going to do? It's not going to be the end of the world, guys. They'll turn the lights back on. The internet will go down, but the internet will come back on. You're just not going to have a search engine anymore. What are you going to do if that happens? You know, and I was right. And I could be wrong. I might not. I don't get every one of these things right, but I look at all their details. I look at all their white papers. I have been researching this stuff for decades. I didn't get on this track just yesterday. I have channels on this platform that are more than 10 years old. They're, you know, so what is your plan for weather? Could your house make it through right now 100-mile-an-hour winds for a week straight? 200-mile-an-hour winds for 2 weeks straight? You have a place to get away from the wind. I don't care about some stupid demon crap tripping upstairs and being an actor, or a guy who calls himself a Christian who decorates his house with Satan. What about the weather? What's going on with the weather? You have enough food to last if you had to, you know, shut your house up for a week, 2 weeks, 2 months? You got 2 months worth of food? You got 2 years worth of food? Could you shut your doors down right now? Do you have 2 years worth of water? Could you survive on the water you have? You have enough water in your toilet bowl the last 2 years? How much water storage do you have right now? I don't care if you have a well. Wells get dry up. Wells, the land shifts. So what do you have? You know, you don't have to give away all your preps, but you know, do you have any way to heat your house? Are you hooked up on the grid right now? Are you on that stupid meter? You know, you hooked up to that stupid meter. Do you make any of your own power? Have you made your own power? Do you know how to make your own power? Do you know how to set a fall trap? Do you know how to tie a fishing hook? Can you skin a buck without cutting the piss sack, ruining all the back part of that meat? Can you run a trout line? Can you go into your area and gather, you know, the local berries, bushes, roots, bark? Do you know how to make tinctures out of your local stuff? You know, there's a lot of things that people could be doing right now. But more important, weather. You know, what do you do about the weather when all that just blows away or gets nuked by the sun? Because I believe that's what's coming. Or what about if I'm right with this water overlay map that I've been showing you? And the, oh, I'm not in my 60s yet. But feel like I'm a million years old on this universe. Or, well, whatever this silliness. I'm not, you can't corkscrew and spin me. But, hey, you guys be good. Let me let these puppies out. Puppies. They're running out by the cows. You want to go outside too, girl? You want to go outside, girl? Want to go out, the only girl that I have? You're the only girl. You're the only girl. You're the only girl. You go outside? John O'Don, you want to go outside? Come on, you're letting in all the cold air. Go outside. Come on, little girl. Come on, little girl. Alright, let you guys in a little bit. Alright, give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna warm up something here. Do you have any place that you guys can get? If you don't have a place, you know, there are a lot of places if you look around. I mean, I really don't think there's enough people. I mean, I'm sure there are some that are getting ready for this, and there may be people in some of these areas where you're at where you could get access to some kind of cover if the sun made it so difficult to be outside because it was throwing some kind of weather that you got someplace to get out of the weather. I mean, is that crazy talk to think about the weather? Is it always 70 and sunny where you're at? So, I don't know. I don't know why people don't think about that. I don't know why people don't think about water. I think it was Kinetic that brought that up. Brought up water yesterday. Or it was Carl. Kinetic or Carl. I think one of them brought up. I'm doing two, three things here at one time. Multitask. Some peas. Are you were the only one inside, kitten boy? I'll let Yasher in. He hadn't been coming in a minute, so so far the weather seems to be good. Oh yeah, so far the weather seems to be good. Everything is awesome until, you know, till it's not, right? Till it's on your doorstep and you don't have a plan. So it's not always 70 and sunny. thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of people get displaced or taken out off this earth by weather every day, guys. It's not something you should have some kind of plan for weather no matter what the weather is. You don't fix your roof when it's leaking, raining buckets. If it starts, you fix it when it's dry. So failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Yeah. To me, having a storm shelter is no different than having car insurance. Having a water tank, like an ICBM tote or even a 55-gallon barrel, if you live in an apartment or something, is just wise. It's security so that you don't have to be burdened or burden others, or you can actually maybe help because you have enough where others don't at that time because nobody was prepared. There's that other portion of being able to help other people out. It's called abundance. So it normally takes community to make that happen, brothers, sisters. Community is not just one person. It takes a group of people to unite in a common thread. And that's a whole lot better way to not just survive, but thrive. So even if you don't have a whole lot of preparedness, community is going to be a whole lot. That's your number one key to preparedness, is having that community of people. Not too many, too many. My biggest concern is my water overlay map. I hope I'm wrong about that, but I really don't think I'm going to be wrong. And I'm not picking a date, any date that's going to happen, but I believe I've got the time window that it potentially could happen in. So hopefully it doesn't happen within that time window, but I almost at this point don't see any way that it can't happen. It seems almost an impossibility for it to not. There's no way with our Earth's magnetosphere being down, weakened by 25% from what it was from the last time we were in this celestial alignment. And if Earth got pinched in between this magnetism and we had a massive event on the Earth back in 79 AD, and here we go back into that same celestial alignment, I do believe that's going to push this water up onto the land. And because it'd be a matter of magnetics. I don't believe the Earth is, I don't believe in a spinning ball Earth. I believe we're on a says the earth cannot be moved from its foundation, but it says the heaven and the earth will be shaken. So something's going to rock or, cause this earth to tilt. It talks about earthquakes in diverse places, wars, rumors of wars, and a lot of these things we've already had for a long time. I understand that. I'm not saying that we haven't. The earth's always had earthquakes. Earthquakes always had tsunamis. Earthquakes always had, these things. But you should see an increasing intensity of these things because of the weakening magnetosphere. There are contributing factors that are making things happen on this earth. There's a reason why we had 5 low latitude aurora events on this earth that's never happened before, not ever recorded history ever. And that actually shattered the record. Shattered it. The record was 2. And again, I'm going to repeat myself. I don't, it's okay. I don't care about none of this worldly crap. So what? I'll keep saying it until I, like I'm a broken record if I have to. And I'm hoping that it doesn't happen. Again, I'm hoping that I'm wrong, but I'll be glad if I say something about it and it does happen and somebody's actually able to do something about it. I'm not trying to save anybody's life. I don't even want to save my own life. Give me 1 second here. Something to eat my belly. But I know I'm going to keep sounding this message of what's happened before in history and what's going to happen again. Yeah, see, actually, I was doing some homework, some research on this, Russ, earlier. And he doesn't want most people to hear this, guys. It will come upon most of the world like a thief in the night. They will not see it coming. So I'm not going to give up on the message, because I know what's going to happen, but I know most people aren't going to do anything about it. And I know probably nobody will do anything about what I'm saying. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing, though, guys. I want you to know that. I mean, please, brothers and sisters, I have to do this. I hope I'm wrong. I so hope I'm wrong. And if I'm right, I hope I'm right about how it happens. How it's not going to be one big one big tsunami wave up to the Colorado Rockies. You know what I'm saying? I hope if I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong, but if I'm right, I hope I'm right. I hope it's a come up into the Carolinas, subside, come up into the, past the Carolinas, get up into Indiana, all the Illinois area, come up, hit the edge of Michigan, come back out, come back in, go way past, come into the Midwest, come back out, and then work itself maybe up into the Rockies. So like birthing pains, this is what he showed me. It's going to come in slower, like a woman in labor, and then it'll come in more intense, and then it'll subside, then it'll come in more intense. And so I hope I'm right if it happens that way. And I think the government's aware of this happening too. I don't know who they've employed to study this cycle, but they obviously employed somebody to do this, guys, because the overlay map that the government owns is exactly where that water has washed up before in history on this cycle. So on the mean average. So that's not by chance. And I think I probably will be the only one who puts out the overlay map until 10/24, because that's just a couple hundred days away. So I may be the only person that put out the message. So all glory to the Father for giving me the time and the understanding to do it. And Give him the glory, please, because I'm only just trying to sound what I see and what I know of the cycles that have, happened before. I don't want to see anybody get overtaken. So, no, you won't escape underground, Ross. That's not what I'm trying to escape judgment at all. Too. That's not what I'm saying either, Ross. Not at all. Just weather. Until that day happens, this is just escaping to that day, like we said, to be wise. He said we must endure. He says we must endure. And getting under the ground and getting away from weather is not escaping. I've said it 500 times. I am not trying to escape my death. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't. But I have to be wise. I have to take care of my temple. I have to get and I have to try to endure. So am I trying to stay alive? No. I'd rather, again, I think what would happen is probably, honestly, if I was out here by myself and that day happened, I probably wouldn't go in that shelter. I'd probably just go out and let it take me because I don't want to be here. But if the books were inside there, I could lock it up behind me and go outside and just take it, and nothing would hit me. Nothing would get me. I know if he didn't want me, I'd be like, I'd have this force field over me, like a millimeter Trump bowl, if you will. I've talked about it before. For decades, I've talked about this with people. So not trying to escape anything. This is just no different than being wise. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? He told Noah to build the ark. Exactly, Ross. That's what I'm saying. So, but I just want people to get away from the weather. Like I said, it's no different than having a 10 by 10 storm shelter under the ground. The tornado blows over, you get in there and you get out. It's no more than that for me, but it's an archive for the books. Cool. Well, Ashley, just get yourself your skills set up and you don't need to have anything. Yep, there you go. And God commands some of us to do. Everyone gets a different mission here, guys. So do like what Ross said. Do you. Do what God's called out to your heart to do. God obviously called me out to do this a long time ago, decades ago. So you can't change what I've been on. And it's all spiritual. Everything I do reflects that book. So I'm trying to be a literal walking, living testament. This is my outside kitty. I haven't let him in a while. This is my big outside fluffy kitten boy. He's a lion. He's a big lion boy. This is Yasher. Him's Yasher boy. He's such a good kitten boy. He's so soft. He's a good boy. Did you have fun warming up inside that? Like, I'm gonna let this guy out. Did you warm up? How are you? How are you, bad boy? So, you know what's so beautiful? What I realized about this this shelter out here that I built is I know it can give me some protection from the weather, which would be wise, and try to protect myself and endure to the end. Don't just give up, because I could have given up a long time ago. All I have in this world right now, guys, is this gospel. I don't have anything else. Everything else sucks in my world right now. I can't share the blessings that I have. So, although I have blessings, I don't like this because I can't share my blessings. So, but that's between me and the Most High. But I know that. Cool, nice, yeah. Yeah, sure. He's about 3 years old now. I think 3-4 years old. But I kind of seen through this whole preparedness, whole thing that I've done for decades. And that shelter isn't, even though it already would have allowed me not to have to leave my property when we had the fires, because I talked to the fire marshal and told him I'm not leaving my property. Yeah, if I could do that, Ross, if I could just get my financial situation, which I believe the Most High is going to help me with here soon, because I put in a lot of time. Maybe he'll let people stop stealing from me, but that could happen to me again. I could get on my feet again, and somebody could just take everything from me. But maybe he'll help me get to that, and that's all I find any joy in is studying and sharing and teaching that gospel to others, and taking up my cross. Everything else seems cumbersome and burden. It's like it's a burden. I don't want it. I wish I could just figure out ways to do without it. If I could, again, just have a pickup truck right now. Somebody was wealthy enough to donate me a pickup truck, with a cab, or I've been trying to sell everything that I have, like whatever. I just go on the road. I wouldn't even worry about this whole homestead. I gave this everything I could for 10 years. I tried to get people to just be more organic is all, not do any kind of, crazy zombie apocalypse, not even anything like that. Just be prepared to eat better food and just cut out the cost of living. There's ways to live without. I'm almost there. I'll get there. I'll get there. Again, remember, I've been about 15 plus years of land payments in out here and stuff. So I'm not like I haven't put in a lot of time and effort, but I realize that ark that I built, it's not for me. It's nice, beautiful. See, that's where I'm almost there. I feel like I have a place kind of set, a place that's set apart. That's awesome, Ross. Beautiful. But I feel like that shelter, one day it hit me pretty hard, and I realized, hey, wait, this isn't the shelter, even though it is, because I tell people it's not a bunker. I don't build this to try to escape my death. Haven't built this. I built this because God told me to be wise and build an ark like Noah, to have a place to get away from, again, he said the promise of that he would never flood the earth, the promise of the rainbow, this time he'd bring fire. And so I knew that the sun would be a major factor and the weather and in life and things. So I started preparing decades ago to try to come out and find a place where I could, live underneath the ground, not stay under the ground, like have a home underneath the ground to get away from the things that I know that the sun affects. All the weather's affected by the sun. So it's like, well, you know what? I'm just going to start on this now because I'm not rich. I don't have, no means to do anything. I have to dig at this every day. And so I did, and I've clawed my way to be where I'm at with zero income and everything taken from this property 6 years ago, starting from scratch. I dug for over 4 years with buckets and shovel, and by the grace of God, somehow I've been able to install a over $100,000+ storm shelter. I think it costs more to have it installed than what I have in right now. I'm going to finish it up this spring and get that front entrance way and the little entrance area with the little kitchenette and stuff. It's going to be a nice little place to get away from the weather if it's more than a day, something like that. And then I'm hoping in the spring I'll have enough time to build the underground house, like I'm telling you, because you shouldn't live above the surface. That's stupid. If you can, if you're not in an area like, Florida, where you can't do something like that, but in areas where you're not in the water table and you can get below get in below that frost line area, we have a core temperature, or keeps a core temperature. And so to heat and cool your house is nonsense. That's It's quite silly. So, and I do it. I got a wood stove right now, but you don't have to do that if you're below the ground. So that's one of the reasons why I came out here too, to start to learn how to live under the ground while still being on the surface the whole time. Just go and start living that and learning how to live and prepare that way. And again, because it just makes more sense. So it just makes sense to live just not under the ground 150 feet. I just 5 or 6 feet of dirt over the top of you, and your house stays about 60 to 62 degrees. So you can have a little cabin on top of it or something. You know, a lot of people do that to their entrance. They have a little cabin up there, and they go down there, and you know, when the weather's 110 degrees above on the surface, it's 62 degrees down there. You probably won't even turn on the heater to get it up to 70 because it feels awesome, like a morgue. Ooh, this feels great down here, you know. And when it's, you know, 20 below zero on the surface, it's 62 degrees down there. Nothing freezes, nothing, you don't freeze to death. You put a blanket on, you probably don't even need a heater. I wake up my house with a wood stove because I have this old cabin the way I built it, it's in the 40s. It wouldn't be like that if I was underneath the ground. This thing was buried in the ground. It wouldn't do that. So that's all I'm saying. It's not, God provided for us, guys, if we would just go back to the things that he gave us. Stop trying to build up and all this capitalism and all this. It's all right here, all at our fingertips, you know. So anyways, I realize what I have built is an archive. It's an archive. Yeah, I can jump in there and it can protect me from the weather. And yeah, I wouldn't have had to leave if the fire would have came over here in the valley, because I'm not leaving because I have a fire shelter. That's a fire shelter too. It acts as a fire shelter. It would have not made me have to leave my property, guys. Everybody in this valley would have been emergency evacuated. I wouldn't have left. And the fire marshal knew what I have here and was fine with me staying here. And I talked to him about, don't send anybody down my driveway. Otherwise, you know, no, nobody's going to come. That's why I'm staying here. So, again, you can build a nice 10 by 10 shelter, guys. Brothers and sisters, this doesn't take a fortune to do either. Obviously, I've gone a little bit more extravagant when I built mine, but by the glory of God, you need a little 10 by 10 room. You don't even need that big, but you know, that would be a little more comfortable. 10 by 10 doesn't have to be huge. You can build that out of cinder block, very reasonably priced, and with some rebar, and it doesn't have to be super expensive to build this shelter. If you'll please look into this. So I'm not asking you to build some fallout nuclear shelter. I'm not asking you to build a bunker. I'm not asking you, don't even say that word when you're building that, because that'll put you on the NSA list and you just go on the list. So everybody has the right to get away from the weather. It's not always 70 and sunny. So that's all I'm asking, you know. And then I recommend you take some things down there to be comfortable with, you know, for a day or two, or if you have to. You know, I don't plan on living in my storm shelter. Anything that gets 6 feet of earth over. Yeah, he's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, no, I'm not talking about that. So obviously, careful doing your lid. There's ways to do the lids. Please look at that. You know, that's your most important. Obviously, you don't want that thing to come in on you, but there's ways you can look up to build these tornado shelters out of concrete block, 10 by 10, and it's just a place to go get away from the weather, guys. So this isn't a fear base. I can't stand that. So, but Ross is right. You ain't gonna escape judgment in your shelter. God will get you no matter where you're at. There's nowhere to hide. Rocks fall on us and hide us from the face of the Lord. Yeah, did you see that? Did you see what Mr. Bidenstein said on his, he said, all those houses in that neighborhood burnt, except for there was one left there because of the, because it had the right kind of roof on it. Biden said that, guys. Mr. O'Bidenstein. He said that. Have you seen that interview? Well, he never said that, but I think he said it without saying it, didn't he? You guys are toying with us. See that? See, they're just straight toying with the public, man. And that Operation Blue Roof, you guys seen that? Where they come in and the Army Corps of Engineer or whatever, they had that all extra, that rolled blue roofing. They put it on all those buildings that had damage and stuff. They come put those blue. They're starting to make this. I'm telling you what, I'm a decoder. I do that. You better never forget that I told you it means two things. The blue that they're telling you is about the blue that's going to be coming from above. That whole operation, Blue Book is what it's called. Okay. And blue helmets. Never forget I told you this. So when you look around and you see that blue, that's exactly what they're signaling. That's exactly what they're signaling of what is coming. Just like they're foreshadowing with their Alice symbol and their X and their fake eclipse that they're doing on the ground. That's all that is, guys. They're foreshadowing their blue alien, blue bloods, the blue bloods. If you know what the blue bloods are, that's what that is. That's what it is. That's what they're signaling. So, which is a bunch of nonsense, but which will give them the reason to drive blue helmets all around the world. Yep, so blue helmets coming to a neighborhood near you. Are you ready? Coming soon in Operation Warp Speed. You can put your X on the door, exactly. Everything's X right now, isn't it? X is 24, guys. X is the Omega. I showed you that on the board. X is the Omega. He said, I am the Alpha and the Omega. Omega, 24, X, porthole, Pisces, conjunction, marriage, union, eclipse, porthole, birth, Ouroboros, halo. It's all the same thing. Well, that's it, though, I'm telling you. And I don't think we're off too far because I keep thinking what I'm telling you guys. Brothers and sisters, this all has to do with this 10-24-24 celestial alignment. You understand? They have to take top-down control of this earth before that date. This earth is going to get rocked. They want to come out and they don't want to lose their power here. That's why you see them digging in. That's why you see them buying food, shoving it in. That's why do you think Mr. Stinky Musk has a boring company? Gee, that's boring, isn't it? No. Blue 52. Oh, man. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to get a little woo-woo. I think I've already said this to you guys. I'm 50 years old. I'm 50 years old right now. My father was born in 1952, and he died at 37 years old. He died at 37 years old. I'm going to die at 52 years old, and I will have been born in 1973. Come back. You say, I won't be here after that. I know I won't. Maybe I will, but I don't think so. So I got about TikTok. I got about this much time. So I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But maybe if we come back someday and look at this, you'll see I was right. Because the Most High mirrors so many things like that. He does so many things. I don't know. I don't know how to, if you watch, I don't want to get too woo-woo for you guys. Like I said, that's, if you know what gematria is, or he does everything by the number. Like he made me born. I was born in the city of messengers, the concrete jungle. And now I am his messenger, and I live out in tabernacle in the desert. Well, I was still in the desert, but that's the desert of angels. Right? Los messengers, Los Angeles. So I think when I look back at my life as a whole, it'll all gone by the number, and everything will have purpose. I'm just saying, I don't think there's nothing in my life that hasn't been by chance. No happenstance in my life. There's nothing, I don't have control of it. I don't know about beautiful, Ashley. I don't really, be born in the concrete jungle, but it's all right. I wouldn't change. Remember, I had a lot of people be honoring me growing up, and everybody was honoring me. So it made me just think about everybody the same. Didn't think anybody was more honorary or nicer to me than any friend I had. I had the same amount of friends that were of every ethnicity, if you want to call that, because I don't believe in race. Remember, I don't do race. I hate race. I rebuke race and color. Color is melanin to me. And God put melanin in our skin more or less, or shaped our eyes, or because where he put us on this earth, not because we were this race or that race. We're one race in the human race. So I really disagree with race. I can't stand that. It's not upsetting to me, but it makes me think about how little humanity people have, and how little civility they have. How tribal we actually are. We form these tribes, and it's filthy. It's not of God. We should form community. Not so much tribe. I'm not saying that tribe isn't, but so anyways, that'd be a gift. I think about this a lot. We live in this world where these people, no, we're not special. It was just meant to be. Everything is gone by the number. Nothing, I knew it with snow blindness. Well, it's again, I continue to look around and see just nothing more but division, divide, more labels. They've done such a separation, with dividing people. And look at what they've done with how many, come on. LB, R2D through T, XYG, LMNOP, Q, Z, Y. How many different labels have people put on? Oh, I'm a non, whatever they call that, That's filthy, you guys. Oh yeah. No, I have. I've listened. I know that song you're talking about. I tried to expose that song about, I don't know, how long ago was that song came out? That's an old song. So, but no, I think the Most High does everything in my life by the number. And I'll look back at it later and I'll understand, I'll understand the things that I know I shouldn't try to. I mean, I've tried to figure some things out in my life that he just will not reveal to me, but there are things I will not look into because I know it's worthless. He does all things after his own counsel for his own pleasure. So, but I know that he'll pour out a just measure, and that I would truly, his word is infallible, and I'll reap what I sow. I won't get away with nothing, and whatever thing that I did here that I don't deserve anything, but if there's treasure from the savings, that will be there for me later. Like he saved his bride for later, right? So I rest with that. It's just hard to look around right now, and I don't see too many people being wise, the extra oil. And maybe everybody considers extra oil a little bit different, but you need to take care of your temple. You need to don't just succumb to the elements. You don't just go lay out there outside without a blanket if it's freezing outside, right? I mean, what's the difference in the analogy? Or just drive around without car insurance. Just cancel your car insurance. Why do you have car insurance? How many years have you had car insurance? You ever used it? How many people have car insurance that never use it day after day? Think how much money you could save by just canceling your insurance. That's so stupid to have car insurance, isn't it? No, it's not stupid to have car insurance. It's there for insurance. Even if it costs you and you don't use it, it gives you the peace of mind, security. You're in good hands, remember? So anyways, extra oil. I don't know what your extra oil is, brothers and sisters, but I know a lot of people are going to get caught, I believe, when this event happens. And they'll be foolish. Those virgins will be foolish. They will not be wise. They'll be going in the wrong direction at the wrong time because they'll have waited till the last minute to be prepared. And they'll try to burden others, but I'm sure that those foolish virgins will be told no. Because, again, he wants to find us burning bright. That parable has hit to me for decades. I remember that being one of the first things I ever read in scripture that really resonated with me. I mean, it resonated so hard. And now, I'm a little bit worried about, well, God wanted them to be going in the other directions and slam the door in their face. And they weren't there at the wedding feast, correct? Because they were back going in the wrong direction to go get oil when they should have had extra oil and were told to put up oil, right? And I always remember too, that's spiritual oil, brothers, sisters, like he tells us about our lamp, that our eye is the lamp of the body, correct? And that if the lamp is filled with light, then, the whole body is filled with light. If the eye is filled with the whole body, right? And if the eye is filled with darkness, the whole body is filled with darkness, and both places cannot exist in the same space, correct? So we're either filled with light or filled with darkness. So it's very important that we understand that this endurance that we go through is part of that oil that we put up. It's daily suffering. It's putting up oil too, believe it or not, because it's spiritual oil that we're supposed to be reaping, right? So please think about it that way. You know, like I said, the parable and the wise and the foolish virgins it's so multifaceted. You know, as a brother and sister in Christ, it's hard to turn another brother or sister away when you know that's what makes him more happy than anything else, is being charitable. Oh yeah, that's what gets the Most High. I mean, if he had a spot, you know, a tickle spot or whatever you want to call it, whatever letter you want to put on it, that would be it. Being kind and charitable, going out and giving your time, putting your hands on the sick, and being with the widowed and the downtrodden, and feeding the others and helping others out. That is, in all my research I've ever gone through in Scripture, I've never found anything that does it more for the Father than that. Feeding his body. So this has hit so hard for me for so many decades that I don't know what God will think, and he'll just tell me, and I don't want to be in defiance, because when I look back at this and go, well, no, if he wanted those foolish virgins to have oil or anything, that they would have it. Like when he broke bread, you know what I'm saying? He broke bread and he feeded how many people? So I have put up so much extra oil, brothers and sisters, that I want to feed the foolish virgins, and I hope God doesn't punish me for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want God to punish me, because if he doesn't want people to be fed, they will not be fed, right? And I guess I shouldn't worry. He'll just take my stores as he has over and over and over and over again. Oh yeah, it's off to the races with gold. Come on, it's been that parameter for so long too, and it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Gold always leads out, dispersing weight. It's going to do. It's God's money. So I wish I was rich enough to afford some gold, but heck, I haven't even bought a piece of silver in years. So I may end up having to sell some silver, sell my silver this month to pay my bills. But that's what it's there for, right? It is liquid. If need be, it'll kill me, but that's what I had it there for. That's what I bought it. I bought it to pay the land off, is why I purchased my silver, is try to pay the land off. When it goes up, I can pay this land off. But look into the you do your own, because obviously you know about mining companies. If you're purchasing some mining shares right now, DSW, I'm invested in, like I told you, I'm invested in BKR, Blackrock Silver. Would you look at that mining company? They're in the Tonopah district in Nevada. I don't know if you own anything outside the U.S., if your mining companies are like in, there's in Peru or Mexico, or where your mining companies are at. But I like the idea of buying in the U.S. because I believe pretty soon Mexico is going to nationalize. They're already starting to nationalize some of their minerals. And if they do that, they're not going to export them. That means they're going to use them strategically. And look at where we're going in this war footing that we're on right now. This is all leading up to go to war. And remember, there's a smart box, or a monster box in the tip of every smart bomb, almost 300 to 500 ounces, that gets obliterated of silver pulverized into the ground. It doesn't come back. So there's a lot of good I'm not gold mining companies right now. There's some Fortuna silver mining companies, a good company, but BlackRock is something that I've invested in, and I think it's in the dumps right now. But there's no way to lose right now. And please look into that company. I think they're going to be the play. They topped last year, and I could have cashed out, and they were the number one performing stock next to Bitcoin. Look at their chart last year ago. They outperformed all the stocks. And I should have taken profits, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to pull my shares. I'm long holding. I'm hodling. I'm holding on for dear life when I know those mining shares are going to go up, 2 and 3,000% like they did the last run up. So the other one that I look into that I don't own, that is another one that I would look into. Just look into it, is Silver Viper. I'm not invested in it, but their share price again is so low, so low, so low right now. Just like with BlackRock, you can't. There's not much to lose. I'm saying there's just really no downside. Very little downside. Very, very. There isn't in the whole mining sector right now. And you obviously know to how to look. Yes. So you watch Dave Krasler's then. So I watched Dave, and so you watch David Morgan, and you watch all. Okay. So you know about we watch all the same people. I'm sure DSW, Bill Holter from GATA, and some of us have been in this watching this. It's a neat market. It's neat to see what's happening right now. I love when there's, even if the movement is down in the market, I like it when it's not just sitting in that channel, right? Even if it moves down, because it does it. So when metals move, I like it either on the upside or the downside. It doesn't matter. It's very interesting to me. Again, I wish I could afford it, but I can't. I'm actually probably going to end up having to sell the metals that I have, but oh well, it doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. Klondike still got 2 cents. Oh, interesting. No. BlackRock is the name of the company. It's not the same BlackRock as the BlackRock, and they used to be BlackRock Gold, but they're now BlackRock Silver Mining Company. They switched their name over to silver. They still have a gold deposit. No, they're not related to BlackRock. They have no relation to BlackRock whatsoever. That's not anything else to do with BlackRock. You can look at the owner. He's not involved in any of that. That has nothing to do with that company. They just happen to have the same name, but they're not. It's not the same company that owns all the rentals and all the. We know who BlackRock is. Yeah, that's not the same BlackRock, guys. Yeah, different BlackRock. That's not that one. I would not even be invested in that company if it had anything to do with that. But no, they're BlackRock Silver, and they were BlackRock Gold. They changed their name to BlackRock Silver. They're in the Tonopah district of Nevada. You can go out there and take trips out there and go look. Gosh, I can't remember the name of the owner out there. He does stuff on YouTube from time to time and comes up and talks about it. They recently had a big lithium discovery out there too, which is huge. There already is gold out there. And the reason why I'm so interested in this particular mining company, guys, is I'm a history buff, right? When I looked at this mining company, you got to remember the purity of the metal has a lot to do with, and how much they find per ton, or there's actually veins of silver in the Tonopah district. They're literally like, they're not a pit mining company where they dig a big pit. All their mining is done under the ground. So I think this will be better for, like if we have all this green agenda type thing, that this is not open pit mining. This is down in the ground, which I believe will be better. It won't be outside the mining sector. So I believe this will have your best chance to not be nationalized because they're actually owned. The owner owns this company. It's not part of any of that corporation affiliation. And it is just like any company, it's got shareholders, so it's share owned as well. But why I like this one is when you look at the ratio of what they pulled out of the ground, the purity is near, the purity what's coming out of Mexico, which is very rare to find that type of purity. I believe gold, Mexican silver is some of the purest on the planet, cleanest, purest, veins, actual, and that's getting rare. Remember, peak silver was in 2016, so they're always producing less silver than the demand is since 2016, especially since the COVID and stuff. Some of this investment silver's gone. It's crazy how many people got in the market during the COVID. But when there's ever a scare, that's what drives the metal markets. Remember, it did that back in 2012 when everybody thought the whole world was coming to an end, the Mayan calendar, blah, blah, blah. Silver shot up to $50, So, But the thing is, what I'm talking about these mining companies is that they have to produce this metal at a certain amount and rate to put it on the market. And we're really edging right now with the cost of mining. Um, these mining companies shutting down because they just can't produce and compete with the price of the metal to put it to market when it costs too much for the fuel and all the drilling rigs and all. It's, you know, it's a costly venture to mine. It's not some cheap process, you know, all the fuel that it takes and propane and different, you know, it's diesel and it's incredible costs that go into pulling the metal out of the ground. Actually, silver is a byproduct of mining core, zinc and copper and ore. It's actually a byproduct. Every time they pull gold out of the ground, they pull about, you know, 8 to 10 ounces of out with it. And every time they mine copper and zinc and ore, they pull that up with it. To find an actual exclusive silver mine is very rare. Again, they have, you know, there's mines in Peru, there's mines in Mexico, there's some other mines, but finding a silver exclusive mine with straight, you know, veins or silver that comes out any less than that or more than that is very, very rare. So I ran into this mining company and already could have taken a huge amount of profits for what I had, you know, not a lot, I mean, for me, but it would have been a big gain on what I had. Um, uh, is not where I'd like to cash out. That's why I left my shares in there. But what I figured out in this Tanapa district is that this company was in business back in the 1900s, early 1900s. And because the price of metal went down, this company had to shut down. And some of the stuff was like 100 to 1, guys. The ratio was insane. The amount of silver that was coming out of this mine. You know, the samples were just unreal, and the purity was unbelievable. But this is right about the time that it all got shut down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it will. I don't think I don't see any way it won't. Honestly, come on. It's been $50 before, and like you said, on this leg up. So obviously, you know, this isn't going to shoot right back up to 50, and we don't want it to do that. Remember, we don't want it to go right back up to 50. We want to see it stair step up, pull back, catch his bottom, catch, you know, do that, not just shoot right up. I know you gentlemen know enough about this market to know we don't see things go straight up. That's manipulated. When we see that, that's all manipulation. Markets don't go straight up like that. They should stair step up and also do the same thing down. If we see them going straight up like that, we know they're going to come down twice as fast as they go up. So yeah, silver will go up too. Silver is way undervalued. It's the most valuable asset on the planet. It has way more uses than gold. Silver is more valuable than gold. I know people love their gold. People are gold bugs. I'm a silver bug, so maybe it's that. But silver is more valuable. It has way more uses than gold. It's the most conductive, most reflective metal on the planet. Yeah, and it's used in medicine. It's used in tech. Everything that's got a switch on it that's up or down has metal in it or silver in it. It's used in photovoltaics, solar. The amount of solar is China keeps doubling. They're increasing their output of solar. The silver should no reason it should be sitting at. Look, you guys, Elon Musk just bought his own silver mine. Okay, that dude's not stupid. I don't like him at all. He's an absolute demon, but he's not stupid. Okay, yeah, exactly. That's what. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, good stuff, guys. And it's God's money too. I don't care what anybody. Remember, they sold Christ for 30 pieces of silver. So you can't tell me that's not God's money. They sold Christ for that money. So I mean, that makes me feel guilty sometimes that I have any of it. But you know, we got to have a way to get by, guys. God doesn't want us to sit here and have our purchasing power eroded by this, you know, fake king dollar or whatever, this nonsense IOU, whatever. Ever since Richard Nixon suspended the gold standard, that's it. It's been over. So, yep. So I see the only thing I see, guys, subtracting from this market right now is this run up in the crypto space. That's happening right now. There's way more money going in the crypto space right now than there is in these metal markets, unfortunately. So all that subtracting away from these metal markets, guys, I really believe that's what crypto space was invented for, to keep people, to give them long enough time to obviously manipulate the price of these metals to get them all into their coffers. Because remember, price is just a tool of manipulation. It manipulates people away from the metal. Whether the price of it gets really low, oh crap, it's going to get too low and I got to sell, right? Oh crap, I got to sell. Or it gets really high. Either way, you take it out of your coffers and you give it back to them, and they print the money. So it doesn't matter what the price is. That's just a tool of manipulation. It doesn't matter what you buy it at. I don't care what you buy silver at right now, what you buy gold at right now. That isn't even anywhere close to the price that it should be. According to how much money that's been printed, 400 and some trillion dollars of unfunded liabilities, and get out of here. Silver should be $3,000 an ounce. Gold should be $100,000 an ounce. Easily, just by the amount of money that's been, guys, what do they shove? Like 40% of all the money ever printed in like the last 3 years or something? It's insane how much has been every time they print one of those dollars, guys, it makes gold worth more and silver worth more, if you think about it. So I'm not saying we'll ever see that in their lifetime, but if you just do the ratio of dollars, like back in, remember you guys know what I'm talking about. And remember that too, the US debt clock is not what people think it is. That is a current set of that price that's in the US debt clock is of what's in the system. It's not how much has always been in, but back in, what was it? 1913, they compare all that, whatever that was. Gold was what, like $20 or something, and silver was $2 or $3. And then the ratio it showed what it'd be today. It's insane. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's it to me, it doesn't make any sense out of this dollars and comparing a dollar to a piece of silver or a dollar to a piece of gold, because that's an IOU. That's a debt note. That's not money. That's currency. It doesn't retain its value. It loses its value. Paper loses they've done 4,000 currencies since the inception in the 12th century. The Chinese were the very first ones to try a paper currency. And every one of them has ever gone back to its inherent value of toilet paper, zero. You can wipe your tail with it. Goes back to zero. There's never been one that's even the greenback. Think about the U.S. This U.S. dollar, people think it's going to be around forever. Eventually, it will die, but not for a long time. Not, it'll still be around, but it'll be so hyperinflated, nobody will want it. They'll make purses out of it, like they did with the Bolivar in Venezuela when that paper got. Think about this eventually, guys. When this is what I try to explain, and I know, Ross, you probably know, and Connecticut, you probably know. But if you're just listening, you're new to this channel, and maybe you've never heard me say this before, we talk about precious metals. The idea is never to sell your metals back for money. See, I might actually have to take this silver that I have and go sell it to pay my land payments this month because I got robbed. Whatever. We'll let God deal with whatever happens with that. And if it's not meant to be, then I'm just not meant to have it. So, but because I'm not going to get the price exactly that I paid for it. I haven't been. I might break even, to be honest with you, because I got some of it a little bit lower. I haven't been able to buy silver in years, but the idea is never to trade back your dollars, that money, for dollars. Ever. Like, I don't care if it was $1 million an ounce. You're not going to take paper for that at that point in time when you're ready to sell your silver. Now, I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take profits. If you can there's never wrong to take profits. If you can take money over your premium, the spot and the premium, it's never wrong to take profits. Ever. Never sell all your metals at one time. Never. Hey, look, I'm not an economic advisor. This is just a monetary theory, okay? save my butt here, but you never sell all your metals. Sell half of it, sell a quarter of it, but you never sell all your metals. Just let you know that you don't ever sell your whole stack. I don't care how much it's worth. You hold on to some of it, okay? You give that to your kids. It will retain value. The system changes. It doesn't matter. It'll always be money. It's there. It is money. Gold and silver are value. They are money. They're a store of value. You can hold a piece of silver if it's an ounce or 2 or 3 or 4 and 5, and you can feel that value. You hold a piece of paper and it's like, yeah, I gotta wipe my tail with it. Again, there's been 4,000 plus, paper currencies since the inception, and every one of them has gone to zero. In the last 6,000-7,000 years, silver and gold have never gone to zero, ever. Not one time. So that's why you don't ever want to sell your whole stack, okay? For dollars. Our dollar's worth 28 cents at the moment. That's why everything costs so much. No, the dollar's actually only worth 2 cents. It's lost 98% of its purchasing power since 1913, since its inception of the dollar, of the Federal Reserve. So at one point in time in 1913, it would buy you 100% value of its purchasing power. And you could look at the purchasing power. It's not 28 cents. That's a far cry. It's only 2 cents. Your dollar is only worth 2 cents, Ross. It's lost 98% of its purchasing power and sinking fast as they keep printing up more money. So I want you to think about this too. As this Fed with their zeros and ones and through the banks and whatnot, through this inflation creation machine called the Federal Reserve, which is not federal, they have forced everybody since 1971 to pay for the US dollar, or to pay for oil with the US dollar. There is so many trillions of dollars spread around the world that people hold it because it's worth more than their currency. So everybody has dollars. That's why it is king dollar. Other countries use it because their currencies aren't worth anything. And when a dollar is, you're going to use that dollar even if it's another country. There are many countries that use the dollar instead of their own currency. But we have forced countries for 50 years to pay for the dollar. There's a reason why everybody has dollars. Because we're the reserve currency, and we have been able to have a machine we can print where nobody else has a printing machine. We have what is called the reserve currency. And we have this, printing press called the Federal Reserve, which is not federal, it's the central banks. And these central banks have inflated the currencies in these other countries so bad that they have to use our dollar because it's worth so much. That's why Mr. Donald John, the American public, are such ignorant fools that, Donald Trump is wise enough to not, say, hey, I'm going to crash the dollar because people might figure it out. Instead, he said, well, the dollar's too strong compared to other, currencies. We need to devalue the dollar. Oh, see, he loves us. See, he wants what's best for us. Yeah, it brings interest rates down to 0%. Yeah. So people have no understanding of monetary, economic, whatever, what events that are going on. But there are so many things that are happening behind closed doors where people are abandoning ship. People are abandoning our debt. Remember, the debt is a bond. The debt is a treasury. It might go out as a dollar because we give it away by pallet loads to other countries. Cold. Yeah, you can still coin roll, guys. A lot of people don't even know that silver is out there still. You can do that. You go to your bank and ask them for, I think it's like $500 for a box of quarters or something. Then you unroll them and take anything 1964 or older out. Now, never forget, turn them over to the side. Look at them because they make proof sets too. So there are silver quarters and dimes that are not 1964. They come in proof sets. United States Mint will print those proof sets. And so you can find coins that are older than 64 that are silver. But not too many people will break up a proof set to take the silver out of it because it kind of has some numismatic value in its little case. And so keep your eye out for those. Not everything's 64, but they are so rare that you can't find. Like I said, not too many people break up their proof cases, but yes, everything 64 is another way to and I believe that you guys, that constitutional silver. I was trying to get people to buy constitutional silver, what's called junk silver, anything that's 64 or older, when it was melt cost, 10, 15 years ago. Nobody wanted to listen to. Yeah, it's so crazy though. There's people are banning. Cool. Oh, thanks for coming in, Sonia. People are abandoning our debt though, guys, and people are not afraid of this country anymore. And we have printed up so many trillions of dollars. And I want you to know that sooner or later, people are going to completely abandon this dollar altogether, because that's what the BRICS nations were wise enough to do. They didn't. Nice. Yeah. Look at that now. Yep. You've been jailed on Facebook. Me too, Facebook. Well, not now, but I have. Obviously, Facebook don't like me. I've been in so much Facebook trouble, Facebook jail. TikTok's worse for me, obviously. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to recover the Predestined for Light account over there. And if you've noticed on this channel too, I'm not getting near the numbers on this channel. They've got this channel on lock now too. I'm not getting anywhere the numbers that I was getting. I looked at my analytics here, and it's as soon as I really started talking about that water overlay, guys, on this channel, it set the channel down. But that's okay. Like I said, I'm not over here to make numbers. If this channel doesn't ever grow anymore, that's fine. I'll get to the point where we can monetize it or whatever and continue to put out content here. So, yep, it's over here. They got me, and I already knew that. I was kind of figuring out how do they let it run up as fast, because they already know my IP address. They know me as America Ever After. They know me as Truth Viral. I have several channels on this platform that I told you I've been doing YouTube for more than a decade. So I'm not trying to make it do that. Like I said, it was a blessing when I was watching this growing up. I'm like, that's God doing it. I know it, because there's no way that's possible. They already have my channel locked down over here. Because I have other channels on this platform. I have Silvers Like Gold. I have, like I said, I got multiple channels, guys. That's another economic channel that I do. It's called Silvers Like Gold that I do on this channel, on this platform. But they've got me locked down over here now too. They're not letting the new subscribers come into the chat too many. It's very trickled down. But that's okay. I'm good with that. I mean, the channel pushed like from 3,000 to from 300 to almost 3,000 in about 3 weeks. So that's pretty good. I don't know if I was getting that kind of growth on TikTok. What are these dogs barking at? Hold on, I got my dogs barking at something out there. Yeah, they are. Leave the crows alone. You guys are fine. I got a pair of crows that have been on this property for years. They don't go anywhere. They stay right here. And they're over there harassing the dogs. That was funny. The crows were out there messing with the dogs at the fence line. Silly crows. I try to get them to talk to me. They won't talk to me. I talk to them, but they won't talk back. Maybe one day they'll say something, because crows are really smart. But that's pretty funny. Dogs are out there and crows are messing with them. So cool. Yeah, I believe there's a lot of that too, Ross. They do a lot of that. they send a lot of bots to channels. That's a thing now. But I was looking through the analytics, and I think the base of the people that we picked up here are between 40 and 60 years old. There are some 30-year-olds. Those seem pretty too, 35 to. So I believe we got some pretty good, and we kept a lot of the bots because there was a lot of banning. I bet you we banned when I was doing live on this here too, especially with Yaya in here because he bans everybody for everything. We probably threw, for every one subscriber that I was coming in, we were throwing 3 or 4 out on some of those lives. So that's good. It really kept down because I went to look through the analytics. I think we did skim a lot of the bots and a lot of those kids out of here. So I'm glad that I had moderators come in and do the moderating when we had that channel was, and I don't know. It's like my son, he asked me why I didn't go live last night. I just been getting tired towards the end of the day. I get up, go to bed early, get up early. I was up at 4 o'clock or whatever this morning out of bed, but some of those I found that I get a lot more traffic in the later evenings now. That's where I pick up my out of the country. And so I haven't been doing later streams. That might be doing. Yeah, I know. Also, and you're like, well, who is that? I don't, anybody these days, you can get messages from just about, yeah, you got to be careful any platform you get on, who you message, who you click on, what link you click on. Boy, this sure is an electronic world we live in. Oh, cool. Outstanding. Thank you for coming over, sister. It's good to have you. Good to have you here. Yeah, over here doing how TikTok is taking me down over there. I can't get any traffic to that channel at all. I've had, what do we have that night? I've paused it. I think we had almost 100 people over here in the live when we were doing on a late night stream. I had about 100 people, and I stopped the whole live stream, and I said, hey, I need at least 10 of you right now to go over to my backup channel and subscribe to my Predestined for Light backup channel. And I had on the stream, I know I had those 10 people come back in and said, okay, I went over there and I followed you over there. I seen them leave out of the room and come back in. I asked them and they did. I went over there and I only got one follower from those 10 people. So obviously TikTok has taken that channel and I can't get any after the water overlay video. That stopped all the traffic to that channel. It's not just the water overlay videos, the federal government's land that they own that it matches. And so I knew that it was going to happen here. But that's okay because I don't care about numbers over here. I'm not trying to blow this channel up at all. I'll promote it to try to get the numbers out to get the channel to grow. But if it doesn't grow, it's okay. I had a lot of people really disappoint me over there on TikTok. I had 20,000 followers. And before I even had the channel go down, I warned for months in advance. Months. I said, hey, when this channel gets taken down, you guys aren't going to have any way to get a hold of me and I'm going to lose contact with you. So I need you to go over, subscribe to my backup channel. And I couldn't get people to go to my backup channel. Even when they were subscribed to me at the 20,000 K channel followers on the Predestined F4 Light channel, which has like 20,300 or something followers. I couldn't get anybody to come over when I had the live. And then I tried for well over a month and I got like, one a day. That's going to take me years to get the channel up to 1,000 to be able to go live again. So a lot of the people on TikTok really just hurt, it hurt because I really thought I had a family over there that was growing and bringing them over here to this platform, but probably less than 10 people. And you guys, Sonya's from over there, Phantom Watchman, I seen you come over, but I couldn't get anybody to come over. So that's why I just, the channel's too locked. I could put a lot of work into it. Maybe it can gain a little bit and drag and drag and drag and drag, but it's locked down. And now they're doing it over here too. I can get, maybe 2 or 3 followers. I'm not getting any channel followers now. So they've locked that down on this platform. I'm not getting any
The only time I'm getting any followers here on YouTube is when I go live. So I'm not picking up any channel followers. But that's okay. They are watching the live streams though. They're watching them when I'm not picking up any followers, or I'm not picking up any channel followers on the live streams, because it goes on the channel that I'm seeing a lot of people are watching these after we're doing these. I'm seeing an increase in volume that I'm seeing, but I'm not getting any subscriptions over here too. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Over 3,000% the growth rate was at, over 3,000%. Some of it's over 10,000% my growth rate. So, right, there we go. See what I'm saying, Phantom? And so I'm getting an increase, but I'm not getting any subscribers. So, blessings. Yes, thank you, Sonia, for coming in. Yeah, so like I said, it's just me because I've done it for so long. But I'm all done with that. I don't care if neither of these channels grow anymore at all. I've got my base over here on YouTube, and thank you, Watchman. That's what I did. Yep, you watched the. Yeah, so it's okay. Like I said, I've got my base here now. The body. All I really care, you guys, I got to hone myself down here. I don't care to talk to anybody anymore that's not trying to prepare for their spiritual house and, narrowing themselves and coming to the body. I don't have time for entertainment. I mean, I'd love to go out and hike around in the woods, or maybe go check out the petroglyphs, or go fishing or something like that. But most of my life, I need to get ready for what's going on, make sure I continue to teach. But I just want to get ready for weather. I know what's coming. I know this water overlay map that I put out, they wouldn't be banning my channel if I probably wasn't correct. So they would probably just let it slide. Actually, a lot of the times when they want things to get out there, they'll let things go. They don't let things get out that they don't want out. So, I'm about 98% sure that I'm correct, that this event will happen before 10/24/24. So, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and keep preparing. And if I keep come back here with the body, that's fine. Like I said, it's really neat to see some people come over from the TikTok platform. Bills are paid. It's a vacation. That's me every month. That's what I try to do. Administration, lessons too. Cool, awesome. Yeah, you were very well studied, Sonia. Again, that's what I'm, like I said, with me, and I'm not like turning off the world, but it doesn't seem like right now, if scientists said, hey, we're in the 6th extinction event, there's peer-reviewed journal studies all showing we're in this cycle again, and we can be getting ready for it. How about we get ready and we get past this cycle? And I'm not saying we can't have entertainment, but everybody get ready, and then we can play. And then we can play. We all have security. Like, okay, well, if this event happens, great. And if it doesn't, then great. But now we're ready for it. Not just sit around. And that's what I'm saying. It's going to be so horrible, guys, to watch what happens to everybody here soon. I mean, it is what it is. I can't change a thing. But, if people don't get ready for it, I'm not trying to. I really realized that last night after I finished my stream. I started doing some more studying and stuff, that he comes like a thief in the night. And the word means, because remember, there's a day and a night, and the day is the light and the dark is the night, correct? And he comes like a thief in the night, and that night is not just one night. It's actually, remember, a day on earth is 1,000 years in heaven, correct? A day on earth is 1,000 years in heaven. So what is a night on earth, and what is a night in heaven? So a day on earth and a night on, it's 1,000 years. So there's 1,000 years of darkness as well. People don't study none of this. They don't study the word. They don't study none of this. I don't want to go into all of this. Um, this is something I won't teach on this platform fully, but you can, it's all in his word. It's all in his word. So, but when we're in this, we'll say, well, we're in the night of this darkness. That's when these rulers of the darkness of this world, they're in that world right now, that he's going to take the darkness, the evil from the world. Oh, some people, it's so elementary. He doesn't hide many things, but people just, they read right past it. So if it's 1,000 year, or if it's, whatever, if he comes like a thief in the night, and they are caught like a thief in the night, most of the people aren't going to ever see it coming. You understand? Like a thief in the night. So he's not going to, most people are never going to see what's coming, and he doesn't want most people to see what's coming. So, like I said, sometimes this message, it's hard for me as this messenger, like a Jonah, like a Jeremiah, like some of the other watchmen that were sounding the horn, sounding the alarm, of the coming of the destruction of this wickedness. It's hard to sit back and know it's going to happen and people not believe it. So the suffering that is about to come on this earth is something that I can't worry about changing, and I don't, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. So people don't want to hear his word and they don't see the signs. That's not up to me to try to change anybody. So I really realized last night, about that. It's when he says you'll come like a thief in the night. Well, it's going to come during the darkness, and it's going to catch like is in the days of Noah. People will be buying and selling and giving unto marriage and building and partying, and having TikTok live streams and YouTube, like they're going on like there's nothing happened, taking the dog out to do their business, whatever, going and pick up cows, or just everything's going on. That's how it's going to come. It's not going to be something that it's going to catch most people unaware. So now I realize why they don't want this overlay video out that I put out, because God doesn't want it to go out. God doesn't want it to. I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. And I hope I'm wrong, but I know I'm not wrong. It's in his word. It says the seas and the waves will be roaring. It's part of this cycle. It's part of the cycle that we're in. So, but it's going to be hard to watch, guys. I'll tell you, it's going to be hard to watch when this event happens. And you're not going to hear me ever say, I told you so. I've never been that guy when I've seen some of these events come to pass that I've blown the horn about, said, look, guys, here's what it says in scripture. Here's what it says in the word. Here's what they're saying on their white papers. Here's what they say they're going to do. They're just mirroring what it says in scripture, and they're playing all this. Here it is. And then it happens. And I never go back and say, hey, I told you so. It's just one more event that I look at and go, well, I know that I tried. I know on the backside, before it happened, I was there blowing the horn, sounding the message, saying, hey, here, guys, here's what they're saying they're going to do. Here's what the Bible says. Here's what I see. You know what I'm saying? I believe that God has vessels of wrath. You believe that they are saved, so he keeps them that way. I believe that God has vessels of wrath. You believe they are saved, so he keeps them at bay. I don't know. What do you mean by that, Russ? I don't believe no vessels of wrath are saved. God doesn't save vessels of wrath. He sends them to the abyss, to hell. They're fitted for destruction from the foundation of the world. Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I don't think they care, Ross. I don't think they question. I think many of them don't. But I see what you're saying. He makes them feel as if they're, lollipop Christians, right? They're going to get repented. You know, if they were lukewarm Christians and they knew they were going to hell, you know, I mean, well, they might do something about it, huh? uh, yep, I believe exactly what you're saying. I think I can't agree with you more. And I think that's why we are warned about another gospel and another Jesus, Ross, that many people think that because, think about it, Ross, there are people who go to church on Sunday, every Sunday, they go to church. They get up in their Sunday best, right? We know that's not appeasing to God. He doesn't like vanity or none of that stuff, right? They'll get up on their Sunday best and they go to church and their friends see them go to church and they tell everybody, hey, I'm a Christian. You know what I'm saying? And we know they believe in the other Jesus already, right? But we know that they're going to church. They definitely have fallen for the other, you know, Christ said, many will come in my name saying they're Christ and they'll be deceived. So they've been deceived, right? But they go to church on Sunday. Their friends do the same thing, or maybe so they're seen by others, right? Going to church and they think they're going to heaven. Ross, how many Christians go to church in America or outside of America? And I don't care what denomination they put on themselves. They go to church on Sunday and because they're seen by their friends and they call themselves a Christian. That they believe with all, remember John 3:16, believe, remember? Not the actual verb, but the, you know, but they really believe they're going to heaven. It's that, so I totally agree with what you're saying. God blinds the eyes out of most people. Those people believe with all their heart and soul that they're going to heaven, Ross. And you know what I'm talking about. They don't carry a cross. And they're not innocent like a child. No, they're not. They're not innocent. You can't go to church just on Sunday, miss a couple Sundays, go, you know, and then. So, but in all their heart of hearts, I brought this up before. I'm glad you bring that up because it's a really valid point. And people are like, wow, you're being judgmental. Yeah, I'm judging righteously. You lollipop Christian, you tell me I can't judge anybody. But remember all those people that are sitting down, you know, and being seen on Sunday or every other Sunday or once a month or once every 6 months, they show up to some kind of Easter event or the Christmas event or something or whatever, and it makes them feel good and they're seen by their friends. Again, they think they're going to heaven. And they're convinced that that's, but remember, they think God, you know this, they think God loves everybody. And all those people, I guarantee you 99% of them are going to turn around to me and say, hey, you're not supposed to judge anybody, right? You're not supposed to judge anybody. They're the same breed. They're all the same breed. Like I think that people who don't open up a door for somebody when they walk out is the same son of a gun that doesn't put the toilet paper back on the toilet paper roll and gets up and doesn't replace the toilet paper. Same kind of person that doesn't fill up the ice cube trays, only leave 2 or 3. Those are all the same breed, I guarantee you. Or it'll be a majority. Yeah, that person that doesn't hold open the door for you when you walk out or something like that, they don't think about nobody else. They're all the same group. So, full of pride, concealed, consumed by the smoke with no fire. They also love to be rich. Yes, they love their wealth and they believe that idea that their blessings of God blesses people and makes them rich and, you know, and just ask and for riches and you'll be blessed. And that's not how God works. And I'm not saying that a man can't be very well off, not owe a dime, owe everything, have a ton of money. But what else is he doing with this money? You know, does he tithe? Does he tithe his money to the church? Does he take time? Does he? So you can be very wealthy and still be a man of God. I don't think, you know, I didn't say rich because I don't know if you could be. I truly believe what Brother Jim says about being rich. He says that rich men go to hell. You know, it'd be easier for a camel for a pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man through the gates of heaven. So rich men don't have the spirit in them in my eyes because money is their agape. Remember, their love is money. That's why the love of money is the root of all evil. So you could have a lot of money. You could have plenty of money. You can have lots of money. $1 million ain't crap right now. $1 million ain't nothing. some of you are like, whoa, I can make, yeah, me too. I live for the rest of my life on $1 million. But most people can't, you know. A couple $1 million isn't a lot of money. That's no guarantee that you're going to live very long in this day and age. A couple $1 million, people have $800,000 homes here in Bend, Oregon, is the average medium home in Bend, Oregon. 800,000. So $1 million ain't jack diddly squat. It's not. So, but rich, what is rich? Rich is somebody who loves their money, somebody who loves it. That's their agape. So, exactly. Fire is always going to win. Fire is always going to win in the end. Father Nature always wins in the end. Not Mother Nature. Father Nature always wins in the end. He always subsides over man. So that's beautiful though. But it's something I don't think people think about very often though. They don't think about what they serve. And it's a feel good Jesus to them, you know. Yeah, absolutely. And again, we talked about tithing, you know, it's something that's a requirement. If you have it, you know, God wants us to tithe to the church. It helps fund. I mean, look at what Brother Jim does. Look at how not only does he fund the ministry, he pays for the lights, he pays my salary, he pays his salary, he pays, you know, to have people distribute all these CDs every month, the building, the cost, the lights, and then he ties out to the needy, you know, the people of the body of grace and truth. He sends out, what does he say? You know, $1,000, $1,200, $1,300 a month. He takes and writes checks to people that, you know, people that need it, you know, and so we're supposed to tithe to yeah, sometimes he's up to 3,000 some months. Yeah, he just depends on which month he's definitely yeah, that's actually that last video I watched. That was an old video where he said $1,200-$1,300 he sent out. Oh, that was an old video. That was an old one that I'd watch. Yeah, Mother Nature. There's no such thing as Mother Nature. I call it Father Nature. I can't stand Mother Nature. I can't stand that term, Mother Nature. You pagan with your tree worship. You love your tree, owl, forest, grove, Moloch, whoo, lunar, star, Ishtar. No, it's Father Nature, Father Time. Get that out of your vocabulary. Mother Nature. Who came up with that nonsense, huh? The pagans did. They worship the tree gods. Remember? Moloch, the owl god, and Ishtar, and the lunar during the grove and the tree. Yeah, see where that comes from. But anyways, I think it is important to, you know, remember it tells us in the Word of God to tithe to those that are feeding us the meat, those that are giving us the meat. You understand? And not this watered down milk version of the gospel. So God does tell us to tithe to the ministry, tithe to the church, and definitely tithe to someone who is holy, you know, and righteous. And if you find a man that is a righteous man, that is, remember Malachi. Remember what it talks about, Malachi? They're still doing that owl dance. That's right, to this day, aren't they? I know. So, but remember what it talks about, Malachi, and the meat and the water, you know, and the milk and the watered down milk, you know, that he wants us to eat of the meat, you know, and who supplies that meat? Brother Jim supplies that meat. Remember? I said, I just give you a piece of the meat and give you to the whole roast, so to speak. So, um, but we are supposed to tithe to a righteous brother. You need to help those men out, because a man that has given up his life to God suffers a lot financially, because he's chosen to suffer in his life to take on the ministry. Of course, there will be financial woes that he will have. And I believe that's why God wants us to fund and tithe to the ministry, is because there are righteous men that go do the things. And I think Brother Jim's a prime example of that. I think the salary he pulls from the tithe is, you know, I don't know sure the exact amount because he's mentioned it a couple of times, but thanks for coming. There we go. We're just talking about what you're talking about, Keely. What the letter that you sent to me, I haven't read it, but I mentioned you again, Keely, that was the same subject you're talking about. We're talking about tithing and the subject of who Malachi, what it represented, the meat, Brother Jim being, I supply just a small strand in my eyes. I'm just a piece of the meat, and I bring you um, to the whole roast, to the whole prime rib. How about that? Not roast, to the whole prime rib. So, um, but I don't give you watered down doctrine. I don't give you that milky doctrine. I will not. I rebuke that out of this chat. You know that I will not have that. He wants us to eat of the meat, and it is those vessels that he's put in place in this time, that if you can find a righteous man who's teaching the living word and teaching you how to study that you need to help and take care of that man. That it tells us to do that, and that's part of what the tithe is. So, great subject, Ross. Appreciate it. Kinetic, you guys appreciate it. So, uh, there's a price to pay for people who choose to give their life to God. Um, it doesn't normally come with an easy. Um, it's not an easy life financially. That's why I can't stand a lot of these. A lot of these mega churches and stuff. These guys are just that's overdue. Now they're taking from people, and they're taking from the body. And we had mentioned that last night in the chat about taking from anybody, especially his people. That's not gonna. God wants us to give, not take from his people. So, Keely, I can't thank you enough again for your beautiful email that you sent me, and I'll probably actually go through and been thinking about doing an actual content channel video on some of the scripture and about Malachi. Yeah, you can't put a price on it. You can't put that's part of false trend. So, yep, I'm trying to bring you to the meat, brothers and sisters. I know where the meat's at, and that's what I try to feed you. I try to feed you a mere teaching of Brother Jim's teaching, and then also with by the grace of God, with these eyes that he's given me to see the things that I see, I try to take and add my understanding and my lessons, where things where Brother Jim has just not the time or probably the energy at his age to look into, where I still have taken a lot of my time and energy. So I hope that you take value in not only the scraps that I feed you, but they'll lead you to where that you'll follow the trail of scraps that leads to Brother Jim, because he truly is. He's not watered down. He's not milky. He's not. He's not. He's the meat that he asks us to eat of. So I keep repeating myself, but that's what it is, and that's why it's important too that we continue, when we have the ability, to support these men of God that are out there doing the works of the Father, and helping to edify brothers and sisters and lead them to each other, lead them to the body. So we have a place to tabernacle, a place to rest, and a place to rest in our brothers and sisters, to edify each other with our mother, and know that we're home, or where we need to be. So that's when we know we're home, because we know the meat that we're eating is, it's not watered down. It doesn't, it's satisfying. It's not, you know, it's not, and it really, honestly, if you think about it, it doesn't take much, you know. Uh, yeah, absolutely. So that's what, like I said, that's where I've been trying to lead you guys. So I appreciate, Sister Keeley wrote me and made me feel good that, she said she appreciates this meat that's put out on this channel, even though it's not, obviously it's not the prime rib, that I'm not watering this doctrine down in any way, shape, or form. And that made me feel really, like this is definitely, doing what the Father is doing here, what he wants done, you know. So much blessings, Keeley. I cannot thank you enough, because again, I think it's important we understand that we have to take care of people who, who are in this narrow way. And so, um, yeah, there's Brother Jim is yeah, well, that's what feeds us. That's what keeps us going, because it's a tough world to live in, especially if you start eating watered down doctrine. It's pretty easy to fall back to that old way. And then then it's not, so, but yes, what a blessing it is to be able to come in here and, is the gravy. Yeah. I try to be meat, but I appreciate it. Try to be some kind of speck of that, but because I don't try to water anything down, but I do appreciate it, guys. I appreciate, having the opportunity to just be here and not be alone, not be so isolated, and, to share the gospel with you, and to edify, each other, because this is what he really wants us to. Remember, he tells us, where there are two or three gathered in my name, you know, there I'll be in their midst. And that's where he resides. He resides with the body of Christ, not in temples or houses made by hands. And so, what a beautiful, time to live in, where we can all just sit here from all over the world, all different places, and we come under one house, one roof, in his name. Hallelujah. And we come here to edify and glorify his word, and edify each other, and help to cast off this. It's been thousands of years since this testament was made, and, a lot of people have forgotten it. Remember, I call it the lost and forgotten testament, the gospel that has been watered down now. So it's such a blessing for me to be able to come in here and, and talk to somebody other than God. Because, yeah, I go rattle on the streets or something, but I don't have any brothers and sisters. I don't have any, my family. I don't have that. I have my son, I guess, but he's not here, and I get to talk to him. So I guess, but not as often, and not for the length that I talk to you guys. So what a blessing this channel has been. And I believe that, yesterday Kinetic was over there watching, Brother Jim on the live for the first time, and I believe that, he was able to receive that meat, and really enjoyed, eating of that meat was very filling for him. And Sister Levette, after quite some time, with a lot of discernment, because Sister Levette has been watching me for a while, and, she came over and watched Brother Jim, even though it was a replay. It was a great lesson, and, watched Brother Jim, and was very taken by the lesson as well. So I feel very successful, guys. As far as, what I've done here has been to bring people to the body. It's not me doing it; it's just him working through me. So, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be here. It's a blessing to have this ministry and be able to continue to not be alone, and not be isolated, because I know I'm doing the right thing out here. I know I shouldn't be around anybody that's, not preparing right now. Not that I'm trying to save my life. I'm just trying to, Yep. You guys been following me for a while, so you know what my mission has been, is always to drive people to the body, over to grace and truth. So um, if one, not even one other person came to cool, nice. Um, if not even one other person comes over to grace and truth now, I'll feel like my work here is not done, but it is. I've achieved the things that it is that I've tried to do, and that's such a blessing. You know, like I said, even just one other person came over to the ministry to me, uh, that would be amazing. So I know there's been others. It's not just. Um, I think I've driven several dozen have come over and been in the live stream through time again, because there's times that people come in and I'm not there always. I can't be on every live stream, but probably over the last year, hopefully at least a couple dozen people have gone over and looked at it. And if they're still there and they choose to participate, great. If not, then it doesn't matter, because their eyes were put on it and they got to see, and the Lord will decide if they're to be a part of the body or not. So, um, yeah, count my blessings, man. What a sense of accomplishment I have here today, and yesterday was such a great day to see Kinetic over there and Levette in the chat room. It was awesome. You know, brothers and sisters I know from over at the TikTok platform that have followed me over here to this platform, and then bam, we're in the chat together. You know, that's awesome. So, and I've always told everybody that, you know, you come over and if you like these truths and you go over and you see Brother Jim, you are definitely gonna, if you like what it is that I do, um, you're gonna just be head over heels for everything you see Brother Jim produce. He really is an amazing man. I believe him to be the most rich man on this planet. I don't think there are a man that has more wealth when it comes to understanding the true Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, the gospel. There's nobody's eloquent at explaining and teaching the Word of God as Brother Jim. Again, I say at times when he's teaching, um, it's like he's singing a song. And when I'm here just listening to the lesson, I'm more like, sing it, Brother Jim, sing. I'm going off, I'm laughing, and oh, it's a great time. I just love watching his lessons. So um, I hope I can bring some kind of enjoyment like he does. If you sat down and you watched a lesson from Brother Jim, you're going to be all over the place. You're going to be laughing. You know, he'll make you laugh. Did he just call that guy a ignoramus? And some of the stuff, Brother Jim, but he does it through the definition. You're just like, whoa, this guy is on fire. You know, so you'll be all over the place when you watch his lessons, and they're quite. They're not like anything else that I've ever been able to sit down and see in any church. Never seen anybody teach in that fashion, and that's why I mirror this channel. So you guys are a blessing to me as well. So I can't thank you enough. I'm glad that that the Father has brought me these truths and that I can share them with you, and that we can come in here together and edify each other. You know what I'm saying? We can continue to make sure that we're not around this watered down doctrine that's just rampant in the world right now. It's just everywhere. You know, it's in every church. It's in all these houses made by hands. It's everywhere. And finding the truth is such a rarity. And finding it at Grace and Truth was the best thing that's ever happened in my entire life. I've never been more edified than hearing Brother Jim teach predestination. The first time I heard Brother Jim's message, I knew I was home. I knew I was home. You know, I continue to watch, and I continue to, before I ever called, it was a long time before I ever called or whatever, and spoke with Brother Jim, let him know who I was, and, you know, part of the ministry or whatever. But yeah, once I did, and then I knew it. There was a point where I I said, all right, I can't do this anymore. I gotta mirror this. This is, other people got to hear this. How come there's nobody else teaching this? You know what I'm saying? How come there's nobody else um, in this narrow way? How come nobody else is teaching death, self, die daily, daily cross? You know, predestination. God doesn't love everybody. You know, God created evil. All the basics of the things that I was already pretty much teaching everybody, but he was so eloquent with his predestination teaching that it just, like I said, I knew I was home, and I knew if I could mirror that teaching, that that would bring me the joy that I'd always looked for in my life. You know, I've always loved going out and talking about the word. I've always done it. I've done it for so long, you know, um, decades of going out and just making, I don't mean to be like that, but making people uncomfortable about talking about Jesus in public. You know, for decades, people just do not like when you talk about Jesus in public. Oh, come on, it's not Sunday. Go get a church, guys, would you please? You know, we're getting a little offended over here. Too bad. So whatever. You know, we say whatever, you know, go somewhere else. Put in some earplugs. We're over here at church, and if you don't like it, go somewhere else. You know, so I've always, you know, like I said, I've always done it. My son did it when he was young. He did it on his own. I didn't even have to tell him to do it. He'd go out and talk about the word. I told you about that on the live stream yesterday. Him going out at, you know, 8, 9, 10 years old, going out and talking to people about Jesus and God and the word. And he'd still talk about games and football, but he wasn't afraid to talk about it. I told you, it used to get him in trouble in school because he would talk to the other kids about it. And they told me he's not supposed to be talking about that in school, the separation church and state, and you know, and then he's going and talking to the teachers about it too. And it was very upsetting for them, you know. But he loved it. He loved the word, and he now still to this day, he's my brother, mother, son, you know, and he is he's filthy rags just like me, but he sure loves the truth. You know what I'm saying? He just loves the, you know, again, I talked about that on the live stream yesterday. He's like, Dad, I just watched you, you know, I just watched you. I was watching what you were doing over your shoulder. There's many times I could sit there and say your name, you know, Dad, and you wouldn't hear me. You know, you were so enthralled in what you were studying, and because you didn't force me and you didn't make me, I liked watching you, and I knew I seen, you know, there's times, like I said, I go to the store, I won't come back for an hour or two because I get up talking to somebody about the gospel. I told people there's a reason why I can't have no wife. I told that last lady I started dating, I said, now look, if I go into the store and something catches my eye or something, and I start talking about the word, somebody talks about my tattoos or something, and you're in the car for more than 10 minutes, just come in the store. I don't want to leave you in there. I'm probably not going to come back out and get you. But after about 10 minutes, just come in the store. I'm talking to somebody, and if I don't want to leave you in the car for an hour because I've been in there for an hour, and I talk to somebody and I come back out the car, you better not say a word to me. Oh, what are you in there doing? Why do you take so? I said, you can just get out and leave now. I don't want to be with nobody that can't let me be me. I do this everywhere I go. If you can't be with me and you can't just let me be me, then don't try to even make this work with me, because I don't want you griping at me. Almost every time I go to the store, I'm going to get caught up there half the time talking about the word. So if you can't just sit back there and support me and smile and be my wife, or come in and sit next to me and participate in the conversation, then I don't want nothing to do with you. So that's the last woman I dated. I told her that. I'm like, don't even think about trying to have any kind of relationship with me. If you can't let me be me, you know, if I go to the store and I'm there for an hour and I get hung up, or you're staying at home, like, where were you? Don't even ask where I was at. You know where I was at. If I come home and I said I'm going to the store just to grab something from milk, and I don't come back for an hour or two because I got caught up talking about the word, you better not gripe at me when I come home. Hey, honey, did you get caught up doing the word again? Yeah, I did, honey. All right. You always get caught up talking about the word, honey. You made me wait again. I love you. Come here, give me a, you know. I ain't never gonna find that woman. That's okay. um, well, we finally get some disgusting, filthy stuff in here. Looks like it. But that's me. So I've always been that way. Like I said, my son saw me do that ever since he was little. I've always done it. Like I said, I've done it for decades. I don't even know how to do it. I don't know how to go in public. I'd actually probably be considered a menace to society. I told you guys, people run away from me in this town. They're like, oh my God, here he comes. Watch out. He's going to start talking about Jesus, and you're going to be there for an hour talking to him. Whatever, I like talking about God. I like to talk to people in a simple terms, you know. Oh, Sonia, thanks for repeating that. But see why I have to be single, guys? What woman's going to sit there and want to put up with me going to the store for, honey, we get some milk for dinner or something. I don't come home for an hour and a half because I get caught up in the store. So, but it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not going to change. That's why it's probably just better that I'm single. That way I don't disappoint anybody and nobody has to wait around for me. So, but it's all right. I'm not going to change. I can't change that, guys. I can't. There's no way I can go in public and not say something. I've tried. I might even get upset at God. Oh, you leave me out here and you're isolated. Oh, I hate my life. But then I go into town. I preach the gospel. I get mad at him and I'm not going to talk to him anymore. And, and then 15 minutes later, I'm picked the Bible up and I'm studying again because I can't help it. Or I'm back studying some, blogger that's talking about some testament or scripture or something. I can't get away from it. I can't stop even when I try. I can't even be mad at God for one whole day. Like I said, it's not even like an hour. I go right back to doing the same thing. So that's pretty inconsiderate. Yeah, I know. Whatever. It is what it is. If you can't deal with me, if you don't like it, then not equally yoked. But it's okay. Actually, that last girl that I dated, she didn't bother me at all. She let me do that. She knew that. She didn't make a big deal about it because I told her from the beginning, don't you dare, or just please leave now. I don't even want to try to make something if this isn't something that you have an issue with. And there was times that she just come in, 10, 15 minutes in the store. I'm in there talking or something. She just come sit down next to me and she wouldn't gripe at all. So I know it's possible. I know it's so. But I would definitely, if I ever had to find me a woman that I was equally yoked with, I'd like to set that foundation from the beginning. And that's what they would be told. Now look at this. I would definitely say, hey, this is the way it works. My body's not my own. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Leave now. If you don't, please. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to keep you waiting. If you don't support me and you can't understand what I'm doing, I'm not in there doing me. I'm in there doing what God's work. If somebody is intrigued by, I don't know, hey, those are neat tattoos. What's that? Ask me a question. And I start talking about the scripture because my tattoos are all biblical. It might take me 30 minutes to explain something, to somebody. Might take me an hour because we might get might get on a different subject, might start talking about the weather too, So see why I'm single? See why I'm a single man? Not too many people could probably put up with that, I imagine, huh? Whatever. I ain't trying to be somebody I'm not. That's who I am. I can't change it. I told you I can't go into town without talking to people or whatever. I don't care where I'm at. Which city, which town, which state, who it is. It doesn't matter who I'm in front of. I just do what it is that I do. And I always find some way to bring the word of God up. That's why people like, how can everything you talk about be about God? You know, you start talking about the weather, but then you end up talking about God. You start talking about politics, Tracy, but then you end up talking about God. Don't go to the store and ice. Hey, you got something worked out there, Ross. Good for you. You guys got something. Don't change it up. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But you know, uh, well, I do. It doesn't matter. And everybody always tells me, they end up like, you know what, Tracy, I don't mind talking to you, but you make everything about God. I can't just sit down and talk to you about like the weather. I try to talk to you about one thing, and yeah, you'll talk about it for a minute, but then it always ends up being about God. Can you ever sit down and talk to somebody about something without it being about God? No, not normally. You know, cool. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Some people don't mind, Rasha. You probably sit there like, whatever, I'll take the time. Hey, she's lucky enough. I don't have to go in there and mess with all the people standing there all day, honey. I don't care. You know, do the shopping for me. I'll sit out here, listen to the radio, read my scripture, whatever. I bet you. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome, Ross. I love it when two people are equally yoked and they, because remember, guys, it ain't how much you love somebody. Don't fool yourself in a relationship. It doesn't matter how much you love somebody. It really doesn't. It's important, but it's how much you can stand somebody. That's love. Not the agape love. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about between, you know, a man and a woman, you know, a husband and wife. It's how much you can stand them and still just love them to live at pieces out of them. Even some of the little things they do that just annoy the crap out of you, still love them for it. You know what I'm saying? That's what love is. All their little weird little ways that you just dig about them. Probably annoy the living crap out of some people, but that's just what makes them them, right? So, and if there's something that you don't like, you talk to them. You know, my dad told me you can't change anybody. It's not right to try to change anybody. The only person you can change is yourself. If you try to change somebody else, you're wrong. And he taught me that at a young age. I'm glad I learned that. Because it isn't right to try to change anybody. People who are who they are. My phone's ringing. Let me take this. I don't know. All right, maybe I won't. I don't know who that was. 651. Where's that prefix? I don't know. Huh. I thought I recognized that number, but anyways. All right, guys, I better actually wrap this up here for a little bit. I'll come back on a little later. This is coffee talk turned into mid-afternoon or something like that for some of you guys, but I appreciate your ears again. Thank you guys for having this discussion with me. I hope you're getting ready for the weather. Hope you're doing something about the weather. Do something about the weather. You know what I'm saying? Do something about the weather. Get yourself a place to get away from the weather if you can. It's like getting car insurance. You know what I'm saying? My wife said that you love God more than me, and I said, that's all right, honey. I do, because I wouldn't have you without God. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. Cool. And remember, it says that if you love anybody more than God, you're not worthy of him. So Ross, remember, you're just doing what God tells you to do, right? In the book of Matthew 10:34 through 39, he said, he who loves the Father more than me is not worthy of me, right? He who loves the mother more than me is not worthy. He who loves his wife, his children, his friends, his family, his job more than me is not worthy of me. So bless you for loving the Father more than yourself. But what a beautiful response to your wife. Hopefully she feels what a lucky wife to have you. You're a good catch, I'm sure, Ross. That's awesome to find somebody equally yoked and somebody that's in this truth. Maybe someday I'll be as lucky as you. Probably not. The odds are stacked against me, but that's okay. It's only a lifetime. Maybe my new body or something, I'll come back and I'll have a wife or something like that. So until then, I've got him and I've got you guys. I got my brother, my sister, and my mother. I appreciate it. Much love. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Always Agape. And please get some extra oil in your lamps. Have extra oil, please. Very important. Nobody knows the day or they are. It could be a long time from now. So keep putting up that oil. Remember, he tells us that lamp, right? If our eye is filled with light, then the whole vessel is filled, right? What do you think that vessel is to be filled up with? That lamp oil that I'm telling you about, correct? So make sure your whole lamp is full, please, and then have extra oil. Because if the eye is filled with darkness, then the whole lamp is filled with darkness. And they both cannot exist in the same place, correct? Both the darkness and the light. We can't put both dark and light in that lamp, correct? It's one or the other, brothers and sisters, okay? It's one or the other. All right. Always Agape. I love you guys. You're such a blessing to me. There's a Cash App if anybody has anything, the ability to do anything financially right now. But I all know we're all struggling. So thank you, Dispersing Weight. Again, I'm $20 away from having the one land payment paid so that I can not worry about losing that land. And that's awesome that I have that off my plate right now. I feel like the cans that I have will be able to pay the difference. So I'll be able to figure out the difference between these other two land payments, and I'll make it through this month, and I'll quit talking about finances on this channel. I'll just have that Cash App there in the description, and maybe I'll have monetization turned on by then. But I want to thank you for your ties to me in this ministry, because I already know that you tied to Grace and Truth. So I appreciate you've really lowered my stress level a lot. I don't really care about finances, but just kind of tough when I thought I had this month already taken care of, and then God decided to have somebody take all my money. So thank God for brothers and sisters that help. And you guys have already kind of helped kind of take a little bit of the burden off of that I've been struggling with a little bit here. So bless you guys. Thank you again for your contributions to this channel. And for those that haven't been able to contribute monetarily, that's just fine. Your comments are just as valuable to me. And I appreciate those that taking the time to comment and leave the thumbs up. Like, look, we're leaving out of here right now, 5 people and 7 thumbs up. You guys are awesome. That helps a lot with the algorithm too. So it's getting back to the people within the body. So keep hearing it. The message keeps going out. All right. Always Agape. And I will see you guys before the end of the day. I'm going to come back and take my cross back up and spend some more time with my family here, trying to put my treasure up in heaven. These worldly things seem to be a little cumbersome right now. I haven't worked on the cabin in a few days, and it's not bothering me too much. That's good. Sometimes when I don't do enough worldly things because of finances, it bothers me, and I feel like I'm not doing enough. But I feel like the Lord's going to provide for me this month either way. And if the land payments don't get paid, it'll be the first time in I got 15 years total here in land payments. It's not the end of the world. So I'll pay a late fee and I'll keep chugging away at it. So I did put that generator up for sale. So I haven't gotten any hits on it or nothing, guys. That's so weird. I don't think I'm going to sell anything online, guys. I've tried for months and months and months. Just not even, how do you not sell a Honda generator? I look, there's only one other one online like this one right now in the local area that I'm at. So I even priced mine under a little bit and stuff, but not even one. Is this available or spam or nothing? So, man, just struggling with the internet right now, but I'm glad this is working. All right. Always Agape.